And welcome back to another episode of The Diamond Soul, Roll for Story, featuring me, Chris, as your Dungeon Master.
And Minotaur, because he
And
keeps putting us into mazes.
these nerds. Alright. So, last session, you've done a few things. In fact, last session was quite bombastic. The moment you entered into the Crystal Nexus chamber, the Carnifex constructs had been warning you, do not enter, leave, warning, you do not know what you do. This place is a security measure, and you do not want to unleash disaster. They attempted to try and asked you to leave, and then as soon as Karius charged forward, they forcefully tried to stop you. The ensuing battle, we'll call it, was more of just an attempt to everyone try and stop Karius, and he jumped through probably 3 or 4 hoops and managed to get past every obstacle in his way, whether it be polymorph spells, slowing spells, gravity, and finally a wall of force that you just barely pushed past the threshold. You found yourself into the chamber, this kind of coliseum that housed this gigantic crystal that was from ceiling to floor. Bringing out the mace, blessed by Muradin, smashed the crystal, and it began to reverberate, ringing out this deafening, kind of tone, and it seemed to like echo through the earth, and managed to hit the other nexus, the other little network of crystals that had been set up. And of course, that set off a chain reaction that shook through the earth. I think we're getting a little bit of echo from you, James, although the resulting chain reaction caused a earthquake that just shook the entire plane of existence and unleashed something very large that you didn't find out until you'd basically made this mad dash back. There was a skill challenge that you barely succeeded in escaping this gravitoid, and also the resulting landslide and cave-in. Finally making it back to the 5th region, where you saw the speaker levitating above all the crystals, ringing himself like he himself was one of these crystals. And at the crescendo of this ringing, he said that his voice was no longer needed. The Earth plane will have their own voice, and it's at that point you heard that almighty, monstrous cry that just again shook the entire Earth. It shattered the ground beneath you. You could see the maze very clearly at this point. You were able to navigate it, and just as you got to the bridge, the speaker effectively exploded in this kind of massive sound blast, and the entire plane erupted, and a massive abyssal gaping hole just opened up in the earth, where this thing, what you're seeing in front of you, minus the googly eyes, exploded from the earth and kept on going up and up, probably chewing through layer after layer. And it is some kind of primordial monster that has been unleashed. How long it's been trapped down in the earth, God only knows. And yeah, it seems to have no rest. Seems to be furious for some reason. At what? You're not sure? Maybe just because it's been in prison? But it has just destroyed everything in its path. And the speaker had said before he exploded that the Tao will have their hand forced now. They will be forced to retreat the Earth plane. And hopefully that'll free everyone at this point. The slave master's gone. the Earth plane is back to its more raw and uninhabited state. But that's what you guys witnessed, and everyone turned on Karius. And it seems like you're in a bit of hot water at the moment with the party. They're not on their best sides.
They'll
You
know it was
met
for
back
the
up.
best in the future.
Hope it pans out okay for you in the end. After that, you met back up with the goblins, Raheem. I think at this point though, the Chrismals, they probably would have scuttled away, um, unless I don't know. That I pictured the Chrismals were still with you. What would you have done or said to the Chrismals at this point? I forget to mention.
Probably fuck off.
Really?
No.
Karius would have
But-
invited at least the one that's been with them to come with them. Because,
Libet?
yeah, because
Yep.
he likes Cybits.
Does Zybits breathe?
Chrismals?
Yeah, do Chrismals breathe?
Mm. Not especially.
Oh, so
No.
we can just shove him in the bag of holding for now.
They're kind of made of crystals themselves.
So we could do that. Just shove him in the bag of holding for now.
Can't do.
Considering this is what he wanted and
Been
it
out for
was
a
bad.
little fucking Fido.
Oh my god. Emily, calm yourself.
Anyway, so we have the two Chrismals, I guess. Or just one? Just Cybits?
I mean, I'd invite Cybits if Steve, whatever the other one was called, wants to come with us too. I'm okay with that.
Sure. They're kind of a pair. They're kind of friends. So they probably would have hopped in.
It's the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Just get in there. Go on. It'll be safe.
Sure, they kind of scuttle in. They're not sure exactly what was going on. They have no idea why this place is
I don't really have a say.
erupted. But I guess that this is the
See.
prophecy. They expect good things from this.
I don't really have a say in that. Eirina has the Llewellyn has the bag of holding.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See, in
I
my
don't know that I'm Lavellin right now.
yeah, in
I don't, but out of character, I'm saying you have the bag
Yeah.
of holding.
in my mind, I'm thinking that the two Chrismals might be useful for the ship because they might be able to communicate with the crystal in a new way that we can't.
Okay. Sure. That plane is kind of their home, but we'll see if they.
If they want to come with us, they can.
Sure. All right then.
I mean, Elias doesn't have a
Um,
pet yet. No, it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
he does.
I
He has a
do.
pet rock,
Oh, he has a pet rock. I don't know.
Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, finishing up the recap, you entered into the 6th region and immediately was beset by illusionary, strange, shifting patterns. The walls, the floors, even the stairs in this place were just constantly moving around. Well, at least they looked still, but you quickly learned through tremor sense that everything was actually in constant motion. You had to blindfold yourselves to stop yourself from going absolutely insane from the shiftingness. The maze became almost unnavigatable. Unfortunately, even though Kesh'an was pushing on through sheer will, hours and hours passed. You've been about 7 hours in this 6th region, just wandering around, meandering before Eirina stopped everyone and just thought of an idea how to maybe perhaps uncover the secret behind this layer. Using legend lore, they revealed its creation process. The earth god that had made this place enchanted it with a light that with some weird shifting patterns kind of pulled like into liquid in some places. It's this light that is responsible for controlling the shifting maze. So, accompanying that with devil sight plus darkness, it meant that you could create a dome where the walls and the floors weren't shifting. This dome, however, was only about 20-foot radius, and as Eirina looked out past that darkness, they could see the shifting walls, slightly obscured still, but as you looked ahead, you suddenly saw yourself in like a third person outer body experience. You saw Eirina just sort of walking forward away from the others, turning left, turning right, and then heading through the maze and out of sight. And it's at that point Irina's mind had left them. The scrambled thoughts tried to clamber and cling to whatever other consciousness they could, and the personality and character that came to mind first was Llewellyn's. And so now, sort of hot seating Irina's mind is Irina's understanding and perception of Llewellyn. It's not Llewellyn themselves, but it is their memories of them now inhabiting Irina's body. That was where we left off. You just heard a voice in the darkness, and they were like asking, they were like, "Who's there?" And then when you kind of responded, they said, "Oh, finally caught up to you." And that's where we left off.
Caught up to who? It's a bit dark right now.
It's Lokshun. We met back on the 4th regional, maybe even earlier.
Oh,
You said that you were planning on escape, so I went ahead and,
I
well,
guess we did so far up to here.
there's endless tunnels here. I've been coming from a different direction to you, it seems, and Llewellyn could confirm this, because they just came down the corridor which you were heading. And they were like, I didn't find an exit. This
I
place
just need
is...
some clarification before I continue, Ellen. Okay. In terms of, like, obviously, Eirina has left the building and Llewellyn is now flying the plane. Do I think that Eirina is the one that died, or do I think I've been resurrected? The last I remember is a big ball of fire.
Good question. I suppose you have sort of switched places. Or, actually... Well, what would you think? What would you think's best? Does that work for you?
That's why I'm asking. Because I
It's
don't know.
it's how your mind rationalizes it. So you would tell me how Eirina rationalizes
Okay,
Eirina not
well,
being here.
if Eirina is not with the group, and the last thing I remember is a big ball of fire, then I would assume it's Eirina that has died. And
But you
the
look
journey
like...
through the entirety of the Earth plane has been Llewellyn the whole time.
Yep. Okay, sure. That makes sense.
I was thinking it was going to be something like Scooby-Doo, the first one, the movie, where they all swap souls and bodies.
Oh, so maybe Llewellyn's body died and they swapped into Irina's body. And
Like a Freaky Friday situation, that's probably.
Whatever you want to do.
I'm just going to stick with he thinks that Eirina's the one that died.
I think that makes the most sense. Because your goal is still to acquire diamonds so that you can resurrect someone.
Yeah.
And that someone would have been Eirina. Okay, then.
You must be so confused as to why you didn't bring your staff.
I have my staff, and I'm like, I've got the sword.
So, Llewellyn, as it happens, you're the only one who can see right now.
That's amazing.
Lokshun has also got a dome of darkness around them.
Rather clever.
I see you figured out the trick to this place as well. It's the
Yeah,
light.
well, it didn't take very much.
Well, took me a while, but suppose I've probably been down here a little longer than you. Where were you? I thought I was going to catch up to you, but I must have got ahead somehow.
Well, we kind of had to do a few things along the way to do with constructs. Karius here unleashed some sort of giant primordial worm. Yeah, that was fun.
It was.
Shut up, Karius. And
A
yeah, you probably
worm? What?
It
you know
was
that
gigantic.
you didn't
Is that what
see.
Miss
those...
it.
I mean, I've been in this place, which seems to have been untouched, but I heard what was going on above me. A loud shaking of the earth. It sounded very biblical, whatever it was.
Well, lava to the left of me, water to the right. Here I am,
Yeah.
stuck in the middle with you.
Should write that into a song.
Probably should.
He turns and leans to the side. See you've the party has grown in number.
We got a few friends on the way.
Yep.
Well, yeah, we kind of tried to save as many as we could along the way.
Yeah, you've got like a group of 8 goblins, 2 Golgars, each of those big stony elemental creatures.
So, I mean, where we at? 24? Want to make it 25?
Yes, I'll join you. If there's a way out, it's probably best to find it together.
Wait, do we know that if somehow we got hold of Chad and he used his spell to get us back, or if Andi used her teleportation circle, how many people would be able to get through?
It's a gate, so that doesn't have a limit.
Oh, that's great.
But
That's good at least.
yeah, and
It just creates a portal.
And teleportation circle doesn't go across planes, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Gate is a 9th level spell, just so you know. So if there was a limitation on number, it'd be pretty crap.
How did we work that with Chad? Like in terms of how we were going to get a hold of him, or did we say just?
I
Bit on the-
a scroll of sending that he gave me.
I think actually, I think he said to him also after 10 days, or just before, like on the 10th day, he's gonna basically gate you, because that's the time limit you guys set. And he was
Yeah.
like,
That's as long as we have to save Eirina.
exactly.
Nice.
I have to
Was
keep
that-
reminding myself, otherwise I'm going to forget and slip into a Scottish
You
accent.
know what? I was this close to correcting you as well.
I was about to correct you, and I was like, no.
Alright, well, we should probably keep moving. This place is liable to drive us insane, even if we don't look at it, if we don't keep going, so... lead the
Wait.
way, Eirina.
Well, I just came from back there, and I didn't see any exit. You're welcome to accompany me, and I'll show you where I've been. But I found nothing.
We still
Dead
have our
end.
eyes closed, don't we?
Oh,
We have,
Yes.
we're blindfolded.
and
Back
Only
where?
he's talking to Eirina mainly, like, because they're the only two that can see each other right now.
I mean, we're doing all right so far. What do you reckon, Kesh'an?
You notice
Why are you doing
Irina's
that with your voice?
voice has changed.
Yes, yeah. We keep moving forward. You've already mapped it out, right?
Well, I haven't mapped it out, but I figured out a way to see ahead. Depends. Do we want to trust this guy, or do we want to keep moving? Jamie, you're just gonna get the giggles every talk.
It's funny because I'm thinking, what would Llewellyn say? And then just as I'm like thinking it, you say almost exactly what I'm gonna say, and I'm just like laughing at it because
Okay. That means I'm doing a good job. There we go.
Right.
I have been marking where I've been, but I'm
That's
happy to show you.
good.
Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, guys, do we want to trust this guy or not?
Mm,
I mean, I remember the whole dragging away the bodies suspiciously thing. I don't know about you lot.
yeah, why was that? We've come across
They
some,
were my friend's killers, if you recall.
and what did you do with them? Like, I don't mean to like give you the third degree or all that, but we kind of just trusted someone who entirely screwed us over. Not to mention we've been trusting someone for the past, well, myself for the past few days who entirely screwed us over.
Most of the bodies.
No proof of that yet.
Him disposing of the
How do you dispose of bodies in the earth plane? Do you bury stuff in the earth plane? Or do
Not
you?
easy.
Did you read funeral rites? That's important.
It's not that important. They were
Yeah, it
thieves. They were
Still important.
mercenaries. They tried to kill you.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
helped you.
Yeah.
We get that. We're not saying that's a bad thing. We're just interested into like if maybe you're a cannibal and should we be worried about our own flesh?
I think at this time, and he'll walk over and pat one of the giant golems. Just the same as these guys. It doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter where we go afterwards. This plane's collapsing and we need to find out how to get to the middle. So you're more than welcome to come with us. If you can see, that's great because a second pair of eyes would be perfect. But we need to work together and then...
Is that a dig?
Wait, what?
You said second
Okay, so-
pair of eyes.
Kesh'an doesn't understand because he's got his eyes closed.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Yeah, there's two of you. Two pairs of eyes.
Anyway,
I'm so confused.
but
Can
how
we just...
you how are you making it through this?
I've been using a spell, darkness.
Oh,
Oh, that one.
how's that working?
It works fine so long as you're looking directly down at the floor and not out past the radius.
It kind of doesn't actually help.
Sadly, I don't have that. I have the ability to silence people.
Whereas before the walls, they felt like they were shifting. Now I feel a stable surface, at least within this 20-foot radius. Though I haven't seen an exit nor felt one. I've been wandering around for a while. I'll show
Well-
you where I've been.
Well, I'm sure that we should be able to find an exit. Right by that little dot that has the E next to it, or
Sure.
by
I'll
the
s-
line that trails to it.
I'll take you where I've been. And there is a line that has been trailed. He has marked it. He's got it with a glaive. He's been scratching across the floor, just holding it down. He leads you through. Takes about 2 minutes to get there. Up against where that little E is on the map, there's a dead end. He takes you back out of that and takes you to another one. And he says, "This is also a dead end." And if you go back on yourself and turn right, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 more dead ends. There's just nothing this way.
Okay, well, we're not interested in dead ends. We're interested in the way out. So,
Look for yourself. Eirina,
That's
I mean,
what
sorry,
I was
Llewellyn.
doing.
Llewellyn, you can make me a perception check.
Do I get advantage because of my book? I assume I'm
That's
still
what you-
using Eirina's stats.
You are, but that is what you would say out of game. So I'll still give you points. Yeah, just roll me perception.
Am I rolling with advantage?
No,
I mean,
this is flat.
With an 18?
Wow, it's not bad,
Grimoire,
but
what do you see? With my eye.
yeah, you're probably like holding one eye closed for all I know at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Irina, why are you talking like Llewellyn?
Well, no, because I imagine Llewellyn would he can see out of the book, so having both eyes and
Oh no,
Sure.
would
So,
Kesh'an
okay,
says
right?
that.
so, it,
Kesh'an says, Irina, why are you talking like Llewellyn?
so the reason Llewellyn doesn't see out the book in terms of forwards, direction, periphery.
Oh, I know.
He has it on his back so he can see behind him, so he's aware of what's behind him.
Yeah,
For you, you're rationalizing this at the moment in that Grimoire is concentrating on casting darkness, and so isn't necessarily looking at this point. There you go.
But yeah,
Um,
just context.
all right. You're with an 18. Normally, you'd be pretty sure if you could find like a seam in the walls, or if there was a sign that has an E on it. There is no signs of exit, nor is there any kind of murals or patterns that would denote as such. You feel around, perhaps even knocking on the rock sounds as solid as the rest of this place has been up till now. No sign of an exit here. Lokshun just looks at you and shrugs. Did you find anything your way?
Okay,
Well,
so
I
it's
assume.
it's the from what Kesh'an has said, the scroll said something about obviously the like trusting your senses and stuff like that. Is that right? I can't remember.
I am bringing it up now.
Cool.
You can walk into the wall and assume it's like a platform 9 3/4 sort of deal.
So I said those who are not blindfolded,
Maybe.
including Noble Dow, run the risk of permanent madness or even petrification from viewing the shifting puzzle pieces here. It doesn't really say anything about trusting senses.
Okay, maybe that was Kesh'an who said that then.
Yeah, it was more. So when Kesh'an started stepping forward, he was just trusting to go in the right direction.
Yeah,
I mean,
that burned about 6 hours.
I mean, the only thing we found was a big pit, right? As we were wandering, that we almost fell down. That's about the only thing that hasn't been a wall. I mean, there could be something down there, but obviously we couldn't see.
It's a shame I don't have any more stone-based
Oh.
capabilities.
I should point out,
Maybe if you didn't wear your waste your spell slots on a party member.
It wouldn't have lasted this long.
I want to point out out of game, I wouldn't have asked for a roll if there was no chance. That 18 is a fail, by the way. Not that you know that. And again, I will iterate, you don't see anything on the walls that denote this isn't actually a dead end. You can't really tell where the exit is just by looking at it. Feels like
Well, no, I know that, but I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
But as it happens, you have got your scrolls out at the moment, Kesh'an, and you are looking through them.
Am I?
Well, you've said, what does the scroll say? And then you go back and have a read. I'm assuming that's what happened.
But I can't open my eyes, can I?
Of course you can't. No, so you're just recalling information. Never mind.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I think we all remember your last idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trusting any of yours.
But go ahead.
Well, if we can't see where we're going, and obviously just wandering hasn't helped, it's possible, obviously, with like we've seen weird things with gravity and such as we've been going through here. Is it possible that maybe there's a change in the air that we might be able to pick up? You know, like to suggest, like, I'm just thinking perhaps sending a gust of wind through, see if like anything shifts differently that you guys can see with your whole in the darkness bubble that we can't.
Wanna
Just
give it a
gonna
go?
well, but go with James for a second.
I
Okay.
also
So how
have an idea.
are you gonna create the gust with just your cantrip?
Yeah, I was just going to use a mixture of gust and my natural storm guide, which allows me to subtly control weather around me. So if there's any natural flow of air, I'm just manipulating it.
All right.
Basically,
So-
trying to sense any oddities in the air around me, basically that might indicate a passage we can't see.
Okay. Same DC, but I'm gonna let you roll a perception check as well. Even though you got your eyes closed, you're using more the sense of the air, any spaces that are beyond this maze. Go ahead.
Nope. Yeah, I don't have the perception really for it, but it was
The
worth
air is very still. If there is any movement, it's so subtle you're not picking up on it, or maybe you're just not in the right area. And you'd have to take some time going into each dead end and sort of gusting there and gusting here. And
Are these walls made of stone?
yes,
Haven't we got like 3 different stone-like people? Can't they
They-
just do their like stone walk or move earth?
these Golgar, they say we don't have Earth glide like the other elementals.
What do you have then?
We can create sonic pulses, and we have crystalline bone, subsonic speech and hearing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
In
Do you think you'd be able to use your pulses to bounce sound around and try and figure out where to go?
Possibly.
Or maybe as we go, bounce it off the walls and see if there's anything on the other side. If
It's
this is
very loud. You'll want to plug your ears if we do.
all right, blind and deaf. Sure, if
Okay.
that's all right with everybody else.
Just before they do, and everyone's getting ready, Cam, do you want to add to this?
I just have an idea of how I can read my scrolls without going mad.
Okay.
Is it in Braille?
Stick your
No.
head
Andy, I don't suppose I can borrow your cloak at all?
I knew it. You're just gonna hide under the cloak like this.
Well, I've got 2.
I was, I mean, it,
Andy?
Uh, okay, you're going to give it back, right?
It's okay. You could, in fact, come with me.
Well, I'm kind of holding onto your tail. I'm kind of being on following you.
So, Kesh'an is going to sit down on the floor and he'll guide you down, and he's going to take his displacement cloak, put that over, cloak of shadows, put that over, and then finally Andy's cloak, put that over, and then in the
So we're in a
center,
cloak tent.
yeah, and then in the center of it, he's going to have the frozen flame.
All right. After a minute, Llewellyn, you see standing still, funnily enough, actually just makes Kesh'an invisible. Just because you're in darkness right now, so the shadow cloak actually just turns him invisible. But you can still see there's a little lump underneath the cloaks. Sure, that will actually work, no problem. Now knowing that the light is the trick, you wouldn't have thought to just do this before, but yeah, you've blocked out all light, and even the floor, which would normally be shifting, is covered in darkness that the spell is providing. You can use your torch, your lamp, to sort of illuminate the scrolls. Sure, you can go ahead and read through with a finer tooth comb anything you may have missed.
We have a little reading fort.
Okay. So you pull out
So
the
she's just sat
diamond.
there with you in this fort, and she's like, "Can I take the blindfold off then?"
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Kesh'an would have opened his eyes first and made sure. Keep
Hearing
your eyes closed. I'll make sure that we're not going to go mad under here.
hearing what they're doing, I'm like, I think that would have worked if I created the hut. The tiny hut.
I
It
mean,
creates a hospitable place.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but you can see outside it. It's the outside that's hidden.
Yeah, if you can see through it, then a bit rough.
but
All
isn't
right,
it
so
the
you've got-
light itself that's causing the problem, and light doesn't pass in from the outside?
The light is created on the inside.
you'd have to try. Um,
Always learn to make it
Uh,
inside out. That could be interesting.
so
That would be cool.
Hmm.
so as you're reading through Kesh'an, and Andi, I suppose you've both got the light of the flame that becomes sorry, it changes the words on the scroll from inconceivable kind of markings and ciphers, and transforms it into more readable common that you would understand. And it's only with the frozen flame that this scroll, the Diamond Soul, becomes illegible, or just legible.
Legible.
Yep, just legible. So the guide that Dorvu took was one of it took him a long time. He realized that not being able to see helped him a lot. And he was a ice and fire genasi, and he was having struggles down here, especially with the lack of air as well. But he had found perhaps similar methods to you in how to navigate this place. When solving the maze, there isn't a description on the end of it. It just mentions that that's how he solved it, was that the maze was impossible to look at. There's nothing mentioning the exit. You kind of just read on, and it just goes on into the next region. It just goes on to describing the next region, which is the 7th and final region. And it says that the 7th region had tiny passageways, some less than a foot, some even down to even smaller still. These tiny passageways dominated the entire region. Only small creatures or Tao in gaseous form could travel and traverse them. There was a rumor that I'd heard that stated that the Great Khan's palace was actually a miniature vault, and that his servants included tiny creatures such as mites and rats. Location of the central audience chamber was called the Hidden Fulcrum. This is where the Great Khan actually held his court, and was also secretly known. It was only a secret known to the higher-ranking Dao. It seems as though perhaps the Great Khan probably had even more secrets that he kept only to himself down here. Perhaps the location of his final vault. But I sense I'm getting closer. I'm just glad I had packed enough potions of diminution to get through here.
Diminution.
Potions that shrink you down.
Diminution. I was saying it right. Diminution, yeah?
I-
Diminution?
It's basically,
Diminu...
think of it as a potion of reduce.
Yeah, it's that.
Potion of diminution. Mm,
Diminution. There you go. It's diminution.
so the scroll didn't really help, apart from describing the next region.
Uh-huh.
What if the entrance is like going? Did you say that out loud, by the way?
I would have been reading it out loud.
Yeah. What if The reason why it doesn't look like there's much here is because the exit / entrance to the next area is teeny tiny. Can I
That's
look?
what I was thinking, but I don't think it's going to go from really, really big to really, really small. And also, we have no way to get that small.
What makes you think that it wouldn't be like that though? Maybe one of the things with this place is it can make you small somehow if you go in the right way.
Eirina, you have your eyes open, don't you? Eirina? Eirina?
I believe that you're
Yeah.
blindfolded because you've already gone mad. So
Uh,
that's why you're talking about that, even though she's not here, she's elsewhere.
But maybe
Prob-
Wait, what?
probably hear Raheem shuffling around. It's like, Irina, have you gone dead? And you feel him poke you, Llewellyn.
You mind?
I'm just saying, Kesh'an is right next to you. He wants to get your attention.
Oh, yeah, what do you want?
Oh, weird. Is there anything low down on the walls? We're potentially looking for a small doorway.
I will sort of crouch down, and I'm going to send out Grimoire with his little tentacles that he can sort of like feel along for any crevices, but obviously it's only candlewicks sort of gliding along the walls. Any cracks.
As you're having Candlewick sort of, I mean Grimoire, the smoke sort of fills out the area, and it's hard to know where to look without some sort of sense that can feel like sense cracks. But you did actually save someone from the earlier region who
Indeed,
does.
just that.
There is a deafening subsonic sound emitting from the two Golgars that told you to plug your ears earlier. The resonating blast shakes everything around you, and if there were cracks, there are now. That's for sure. As this kind of pulse emanates, they both listen for an echo that may be coming from somewhere. And sure enough, they hear a very distant, higher pitched sound come back. Because as the sound travels through a tinier space, it gets higher pitched. They both look at each other and, well, they don't look at each other, they're blind. But they're both like, did you hear that? Yeah, I heard it too. They turn to the rest of you guys and speak up, and they say, there is another passage somewhere here. We heard it. It's farther down. It sounded much higher pitched, which tells us that the passage is incredibly small.
Further down.
Down.
So like down the hole that we almost went into.
My theory is you know you can get they're like mazes where you got the little ball bearing that goes around the big circular ones, so it's not just across, it's like up, down, and all the angles.
But it's a 3-dimensional maze.
Yeah.
That hole might be the way down. Can you remember the way back there, Kesh'an? Or can you, Golgar, find your way there?
That was like miles away.
Or is there one nearby that you're sensing then?
Our supersonic, subsonic blast only pulses out to about 80 or so feet.
Ooh.
You know which direction
I did it 40 foot in that direction, and the other one did it 40 foot in that direction. There's
Huh.
something here. Um,
Wait. If I did my thunderclap, it makes a noise up to 100 feet away. Would that be helpful for you guys without, completely deafening everyone?
we just
It
did
wouldn't
that.
narrow it down. It would make a space. They did it 40 feet. If you're doing it 100, you're making it a bigger scope rather than a small.
Definitely within 40 feet.
Well, let's have a.
It sounded like it was traveling through a tight space. So it came back higher pitch, the echo.
And you don't know how you wouldn't be able to guide us. It was just a case of there's something near us.
Chloe, can you pick anything up with your tremor sense? See if you can.
Yep, you
sense
can make a perception check with advantage.
Yeah. It's not gonna be high enough, is it?
Anything anyone can do to help him?
I can give Bardic.
Yep.
I'll give him iguana pets.
Yeah, I give it. I give him a little pet. I'm like, at least you're still a good one, and give him a little chin rub.
Is that how you're doing bardic inspiration for this?
Yes.
Okay, you roll a d10.
22.
That's enough. Yep, DC was 20. Now knowing there is something nearby in an 80-foot radius, it doesn't take long for Taklo to sort of feel around, and kind of making tapping sounds against the earth. And sure enough, you've walked over it several times already. But there is a tiny square hole about this big on the floor. And it goes directly down.
Your scroll,
Wow.
Kesh'an, it only said that some of the paths were smaller, right? Didn't say they were all smaller.
Pretty sure it said all of them.
But some of
It
them
said
are
that-
even smaller.
I mean, Taklo
Yeah.
could probably get down there, and the Grismals and maybe the goblins and Egbert and the other pets, but we're probably too big.
I'll put it this way: he said he had a court of mice and rats. So if we're talking
Potentially.
small, that's kind of like a gauge of the size we're talking.
So, is he
It
like a
says-
genie then?
Hmm?
Like, he's super giant, but teeny tiny living space.
The Dorvu, or
No.
the
The Great Khan, I think.
The great Khan.
Great Cam.
Great
It's
Khan.
called the Great Khan. But you know the Dow can turn into gas.
They can
Basically, sand.
Wait,
That genie.
Eirina can turn us to gas, right? Or some people.
Yeah, no, go for it.
No, it's a personal joke.
Who would like to volunteer to go down there?
Is it small enough for a bat?
It's small enough for a tiny creature.
So I have a wand that could turn someone into a bat.
A bat?
everyone-
A cat wearing a hat?
Out of everyone, Taklo, Dr. Octopus, and Houdini can fit through.
What about Egbert?
However, unless we have
Um,
a rest.
Oh yeah, and Egbert. Yep. Egbert can also fit through.
We did rest last session, remember?
Not a long rest, though.
We didn't have a long rest. So, in other words, the rest of this session is going to be us playing our pets.
I mean, if we had the time to rest, and Taklo went down there, I could get most of us down there.
Yeah,
Right,
I could cast polymorph on someone.
Oh yeah, I guess
I-
Since when
Grimoire.
have you ever cast that?
Forget to say Grimoire can also get through as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't actually cast polymorph anymore. I don't have the spell slots, but I do have a one that could turn one of us into a bat.
I mean, there is potentially something else.
Mhm.
And he points down at a shadow,
That's a good point.
but it's attached to me. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I polymorph you. You go down there with your shadow. That way you've got backup.
Yeah.
You can take Taklo with you as well, and that's at least. That way, we've got a
It's a
communication
shadow. It
method.
doesn't have form.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to cast polymorph or gaseous form on Andi.
Okay. All right.
I'm just thinking though, if I truly believe I'm the villain, I do have an arcane focus, and he's a wizard, so everything he learns is from books. Can I not cast his spells?
No.
Because you
Okay, let's
technically,
give it a
might-
shot.
you technically
No.
wouldn't know the knowledge behind how he casts
Exactly.
his spells.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a librarian, but like,
You're.
okay,
this
whatever.
This is because insanity isn't a good thing.
I was half joking when I said it. Don't worry, I know I can't.
You-
I think it's the same
You're
why.
mad.
I think it's the same as to why I couldn't just instantly cast Elravan spells. I had to sort of decipher them and learn them.
You know,
Get
as I said,
revisited.
I was half joking when I
Yeah,
said it,
yeah.
so it's.
Mm.
I know why I can't.
Yes, get on with it.
Even if he was another wizard, yeah, it's like he says. There's ciphers within
Yes,
there.
get
Tablet.
on with it.
So you want to cast gaseous form on Andy, and I'll say
I'm
Andy.
casting polymorph.
Sure. All right then. Andy's going to be the forward. I mean, did you want to cast it on Houdini as well, or did you want to just have it Houdini be following
Anything
along?
that is on her person
Yeah. So
also
Houdini.
turns into gas.
All right. I just didn't know if you wanted to have them separate.
How
Because
long?
Houdini can fit down there, no problem.
How long
I'm
does
going to
polymorph last?
an hour.
So yeah, does Andy want company in forms of a bat?
I mean, whatever you want to send down there. I mean, it's probably not a good idea me going by myself.
Alright. I'll become Mr. Squeaky.
Okay. How long does that last?
An hour. It's pretty much the
Alright.
same as a polymorph spell.
Okay. Okay. So we have Bat. Is Tackler going down?
Yeah, Taklo will go down.
Well, Bat, Gas, Tackler, and is Egbert going down? Kesh'an?
Is Egbert going down?
Yeah.
I guess I can't really communicate with him, so I'll keep him here.
Alright then. Alright. So you send your team down. Grab Andy then.
Oh, I will cover my eyes because obviously gaseous form is concentration, so I will have to drop the darkness.
Right, yeah. As you cast this,
In fact, you know what? I will
yeah.
send Egbert down. Egbert will
Sure.
go with you, Andy.
Alright, here we go. So we got effectively almost the full team. Minus Llewellyn. Unless you want to send Grimoire down.
Yeah, I'll send Grimoire.
Yes.
Candlewick's like if Candlewick could like give you a look, they would, but I guess Candlewick's smoke just billows down and accompanies Andy for now.
He's sending me away? What?
Yeah, exactly. Like, huh? All right. In fact, actually, he probably just asked Yeah, it's weird. You see Eirina take their scabbard and give it to one of the party, like either Taklo or the bat, and they say, "Yeah, take Grimoire as well." Like
Right.
they say, "Grimoire, go down,"
Tekla
and that's what happened.
confused, but will strap the scabbard to their back.
Sure, that works. Okay.
Has the scabbard always been called Grimoire? I've never actually known the name that Irina's given. I guess it's called
Not
Grimoire.
really. They're not the scabbard. They normally don't refer to the scabbard as anything.
Yeah.
So this is the first.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's something weird going on. In any case, all of you teams, as in out of game, have gone down. The tunnel keeps on going and going and going. It does seem to get wider at some points, but only by like half a foot. And you enter into a new maze. This one not as warped or as confusing as the other, but all the passages are incredibly tiny and would be impossible for anyone to navigate if they were bigger than small. Or tiny even for that matter. It goes on for a while. 200 feet, 300 feet. This maze does have similar dead ends and twists and turns. Little difficult to navigate, but see.
Echolocation.
Some spots get so ridiculously claustrophobic that even the familiars are gonna need to give me a dex save. Effectively, it's if they've got acrobatics, then they can use that, but it's dex to squeeze through.
Does Taklo need to consider another bar of
Andi?
speed?
Andi is fine. Ah, yes. You try to burrow through this if you wish. It ain't having it. This magical wall has been fortified somehow against being borrowed. It's like as hard as almost as hard as diamonds, you could say. The Velen, so that's
Was
wait,
that?
who
I think that was me, but for some reason it's confusing the fact that Llewellyn's
you've
about.
got just because you got Eirina selected, just select Elias if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, but I'm not using my. I have to use the bats because I'm
Oh, the
polymorph.
bat's dex.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. The bat gets stuck. Taklo, what did you get? 16?
Yeah.
You're doing okay. You can squeeze through just barely. Probably the scabbard that's getting difficult gets like stuck, and then you have to pull it out, turn it, and then have it go through.
Stupid grimoire, making me bring a scabbard.
And then finally, Egbert, do you want to roll me, Cam? Roll me a d20 plus 3. Egbert's actually quite dexterous.
+3, you said.
Yep.
Strength.
Egbert is soft boiled.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah. Their form is made of metal, and they can't as easily squeeze because they've got a metal frame which doesn't bend or squish like skin or flesh, and so they get stuck as well. Only ones not stuck are Andi and Taklo, by the looks. So they can get deeper in.
Egbert's kind of like reaching out with his claws.
Taklo being the only one who can potentially do anything to help, and considering that at least for Elias it's a polymorph. So if they're stuck and the owl goes off, they're just gonna go squish. We'll just go back and just try to help them out of the thing.
Okay.
And Egbert as well, but mostly for Elias.
Excuse me.
Probably actually take off the scabbard and use it to sort of prize them out.
Like the plunger.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. I'll tell you what. You can give one more check. Both Elias and Egbert. But I'm going to say flat roll. So you kind of got yourself stuck. and this is kind of making it a flat roll
Wasn't
where
it?
they're trying to help you.
Wasn't it a flat roll before?
But now you're disadvantaged because you're stuck. But
What?
because Taklo's helping,
I got the
Nope.
same roll.
that bat is well and truly jammed. It's not going anywhere. This gap was like an inch wide, and
Yeah.
the head fit through, but their little fluffy body is stuck, and they usually use their wings for locomotion, and they're folded up on themselves like that.
Taklo just sort of looks at them and just sort of points to go back, see if they can go back up the tunnel if they can't squeeze through.
Squeak,
Um,
squeak.
They're stuck. They're
Yeah.
jammed there, restrained.
Trying to wriggle back. Can't move.
What about Egbert? Does Egbert unstick?
For Egbert, they can roll again, d20 plus 3.
Sorry.
D20 plus 3.
Roger.
Egbert
Better.
manages to free themselves. They either, with their wire form, try to basically break it apart. Not like irreparable damage, but dislodge sections of their wire frame.
Deconstructs and reconstructs.
Exactly that. And with the smaller pieces, you can pull them through the hole, and then they have to like mend them, like peck themselves. It's almost like a bird cleaning themselves, or
My
you
God,
know when they
his
decorate them.
beak's like a little welder.
Yeah.
Like,
That's it. And it's like a little drill, and it like screws in where it needs to screw in. Yeah, and Egbert's through the tiniest of gaps.
Taklo just sort of looks at the bat. It's just
Would
like,
Taklo be giving updates
if
as
we
they went?
well, we've gone too far now. We're 200 feet away. Only got
500.
500. I've only got 100-foot telepathy with them.
Squeak,
Yep.
squeak. Squeak, squeak.
Little squeakings.
I can try. I'm gonna try and speak telepathically to Egbert.
Not in range.
He's fine.
Can I speak to Grimoire? How far away does that work?
Also 100 feet.
Can anyone understand squeaks?
I mean, Taklo. No, because it's
And you speak Draconic.
yeah,
'Cause
common and
it's like-
draconic.
Just push me back instead of trying to pull me through.
Taklo will try, just sort of like put the scabbard on the back and just sort of push them through the other way. Try to
Egbert will be on the other
back.
side pulling.
All right, you can
Make a
give me one last.
suggestion. I know I'm here, but can I just make a suggestion?
Go on.
Andi is currently in gassy form.
Yes.
She could just kind of like squeeze past the bat and try to eject it out.
I don't know how much force the gas
Air
has.
pressure.
That would be funny.
And if the bat lets out gas at the same time.
Technically, Grimoire is there. Grimoire, in air quotes, is there too, and he's a gas.
Yeah. I don't know if, like you say, it can. There's not. In order for that to work, right? The gas would need to pile up in a condensed space.
Isn't this a
They're
condensed
just stuck
space?
in a tunnel. They're just. Yeah, it is. They're stuck in a kind of a tunnel, though, where there's space on the other side
Okay.
and space on.
I guess it's
Yeah,
kind of more
I mean-
like a vent.
Another slight
Um,
idea. Egbert is a machine, right? Sort of thing. Do they have like a natural sort of lubricant to them that we could use? You know, like sometimes you see joints have that natural lubricant. For
He's a
shit.
magical mechanical being.
If not, then Taklo is going to try to use saliva to basically make them
Bit on the queen.
and then push them back through.
Okay. Going back to the gas idea, like if someone was stuck in a barrel, the gas could enter through into the bottom of the barrel and then expand out. But like when you go to expand on the other side, you just get stretched down the tunnel, which is like all the space that's free there. If you want to use some saliva and try to like, that might work. Egbert doesn't really have much oil on them,
Yeah.
though. That is an idea if you wanted to try and head back to the others. If anyone has oil or something in their equipment, that could happen.
Karius does,
But-
but we also have limited time on. I think
Okay.
Karius does anyway. Yeah.
For now,
The bats
Tacklo-
releases themselves. No, I'm kidding.
Kesh'an
Now
has a
we'll-
bottle of grease.
Does
Kesh'an
he?
legitimately has a bottle of grease.
Yeah, Karius
That's
has
amazing.
4 bottles of oil.
all right. For now, then, Tacklo, you use your saliva to like effectively try to get Elias free, and push him back the other way. Elias, you can give me a dexterity saving throw, basically as your bat.
A dexterity saving throw. Is
Yeah,
just,
it's a save because all the whole region's a save.
is it just the same as a dex check?
Oh, this is
It is
so-
for the bat. It's the
'cause
same
I'll-
for the bat.
Yeah, because all I've got is the
No.
generic.
I'll give you advantage this time because you're trying to go back through the hole and you've got a minor bit of lubrication. Okay, all right. It's difficult, but you do pop back out from this side. You don't go through. There's no chance your bat's getting through. Quite a plump bat, it turns out. But you can fly
Me
back to
too.
the others if you want.
I do go back
Okay.
because
You'll
I
think
know
with
for
three Bs.
I know for a fact that if we're like 200 feet
Yeah.
and for
500.
some reason 500 feet
Yep.
and for some reason something goes wrong, I'm taking a hell of a lot of shunt damage.
Mm-hmm. All right, Elias, you return back to the others, and everyone can hear a squeak squeak coming up the small tunnel. Big booty bat.
I
Wait, what happened? Did you not make it? Why is the bat back here?
squeak.
Bad bat. Wait, did they all die? Oh no, are you the only survivor?
He says he can't make it through the gap.
Oh, you can speak to anything.
Yeah.
I can literally understand.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a relief.
The
Well,
rest
then
of them
you-
made it through, but yeah, Elias can't because apparently, and weirdly, his words, "I'm too dummy thick."
Yeah, I probably would say that.
I can imagine Kesh'an is still like reading through the scrolls, so he's still under the cloak fort, and you'll just see a hand come out with the bottle of grease. Try this.
I will grab the grease and I'll take it down there, and I'm not going to go through the hole myself, but I will push it through for anyone who's still there, who may
Yeah.
need it in the future, and then fly back.
All right.
Does that?
You don't want to.
I-
You sure you don't want to try and?
I'm not going to risk that. No.
No?
If I've got stuck once, my rolls aren't great so far. I'm not going
No,
to.
but the grease would definitely give you an advantage.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to risk that, but I'll give advantage to everybody else.
Yeah.
All right.
So Tacklo will,
Well, fly back.
along with the scabbard, just strap on this bottle of grease, just like.
Okay. Sure.
It's a little
Okay. The tiny
pack bullet.
tiny winding claustrophobic spaces don't go on that much further, if I'm completely honest. That was basically the biggest sorry, not the biggest, but the biggest challenge with the tiniest hole. The other spaces are wide enough that you can fit through fairly easily. Now had I come to this. Yeah, everyone in this area can give me a perception check.
Perception check.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have advantage?
For
Because-
tremor sense? Yes, you do.
And what would
Egbert,
if
that's just a
Egbert's
flat
gonna
roll.
help? Go.
That for you, Egbert, it's you actually have +2 to that, so 7. All right. Wow. Tacklo, Andi, gaseous form doesn't stop your vision from listening very clearly to what's down here. You can hear around on the walls, although it's actually pitch black down here, you're picking up sounds of just a faint skittering sound going around everywhere. You can hear them on the walls. There's multiple sources of this.
When
Taklo
you
can pick
say
it up. They're
skittering, do you mean like
skittering, like
bugs
tiny little
skitter-
legs.
like bug legs,
Yeah.
mammal legs, robotic legs? What kind
You
of skittering?
you can hear it sounds with you and Taklo working together with that. You can hear that sound like bug legs, tiny little bugs moving about, almost like a
Snacks.
scarab or something. Snacks.
I mean, Taklo's like
Taklo go.
It might be. They might, in this form, they
Oh.
might, like...
Yeah. Baby bullet. If you want to eat something, you can.
Just have a... sort of looks at the smoky Andi and the mechanical Egbert and just sort of goes... Just sort of... Actually, limited telepathy. Just sort of, like, gestures to them with their limited telepathy, like, go back, continue forward.
I mean, she can't talk herself, but I guess if it's
Just form into the shape of an
telepathy.
arrow, I guess.
Because I'm wondering if these tunnels are being made by these little insects. So it might be worth turning back and telling the others. Don't really want to get too far without all of the party together.
Taklo considers this, looks at Egbert, wonders what Egbert's opinion on the matter is.
Egbert might be pecking at something nearby as well. They aren't that intelligent. Only 6 intelligent. I mean, they were born like yesterday. So, although they can't necessarily hear them, though, that's the problem for them.
Yeah.
But you can hear Egbert kind of flapping their wings and flying around a little bit. Seems like this space is a little bit open.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm on the time limit because
Yeah.
I've got spell on me.
Yeah.
Whereas the other two do not.
Yeah.
So I am gonna, I don't know, float my way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of like frantically dance around in front of Llewellyn to basically get them to drop it so I can actually talk to them.
Sure.
But,
Taklo will continue scouting.
You come back into your form, Andi.
Yeah, and I just basically explain that sounds like something's in the walls. Sounds like bugs or something like that. Maybe could be forming some of these tunnels, judging from the size of them. But, yeah. Egbert and Taklo are still down there. And she's of course got her blindfold back on, no doubt.
Bugs. Lost to Earth kind of speaks up. What kind of bug?
I don't know. It's dark down there. Bugs.
Need a light.
I mean, I don't know if putting a light on in here is a good idea. The moment you've got light is the moment that people start going crazy. I mean, they didn't sound malicious. They're just scuttling around in the woods.
Maybe they're trying to get deeper as well to get away from what's happening on this level.
Maybe.
Or the one before, technically.
I could also go down there, have a little look. This is Lokshun speaking up. I too have a spell. Turn myself into a gas.
Can you do it to multiple people?
I'm afraid not. I can turn one of you into one, or turn myself. Depends who you feel is best suited for this situation, but if you need to get back down there, I can. Assist.
Who is good at navigating and perceiving? And by that I mean survival and perception.
Eirina.
I mean, if it comes to
Uh,
if it comes
Andi.
to if it comes to investigation, I'm really good. But if it's perception and survival,
So you came back to tell us that there's insects down there, but
they probably work alongside the Khan.
yeah.
alright.
So if you were to turn back into gas, do you think you could go a bit further, Andy? Like go as far as you can for half an hour and then come back? Maybe try and find a place where maybe
Yeah.
we'd be able to get into, if
Sure,
possible.
but I don't really want to get too far away from the group, just in case something happens.
I don't. Can something like that happen to you as a gas form?
You can run out and then you get stuck, and then
That's what I mean. Only go.
terrible way to die.
Maybe only go for 25 minutes and give yourself 35 minutes to get back just in case, sort of thing.
Fine,
Hmm.
okay.
And try and find a big open space for us. If not, then
Oh,
we've got to come up with some sort of plan to get into teeny tiny spaces.
um, addressing you, Llewellyn. He says, Lokshin says, do you want me to cast the spell, or have you got another spell slot you would like to use to cast gaseous form again? Still muted. Take it.
Well, that depends on whether or not I can still cast because I don't have my scabbard.
Oops.
I
Looks
mean,
like
your
it's
grimoire.
Yeah. Good job I have a spell then. Here. He gets close enough, and places a hand on your shoulder, Andy, and then immediately you feel yourself become light again as a feather.
Yeah, she goes straight off again.
Okay. Navigating this maze a second time, it's a lot easier and quicker, and you're able to catch up to the others in easily half the time that you did before. You remember some of the turns, the twists, and you find that same hole that poor bat got stuck in, pass through that, and then into that dark chamber that you can hear the skittering sounds in.
I float around the chamber then.
You float
I don't
around.
know. I can't really see right now, so
No, that's what's tricky. You float around, and you can hear the skittering perhaps get alerted to your presence. So the skittering speeds up as if it's trying to scuttle away from you. So they're trying to disperse away.
okay. I don't know what I can really do. I'm gas right now. It's not like I
That's right.
can touch anything or talk to anything
Mhm.
or and of course it's dark so I can't see anything. All I know
Good to
is
be
this
back
string
there.
of bugs.
It's good if you have Tackler with you though. Tackler, as you're hearing the scuttling, you can feel them moving around in like a square-like pattern around this chamber. As some of them move over the floor, you can hear them go up and over something cube-like in the center of the room, because their tremors echo off that surface.
Taklo will gesture that way and head towards the cube-like thing themselves.
Yep, you find a cube. It is roughly about 5 foot on each side. It is part of the floor. It doesn't seem like it's movable. It's like the floor has kind of built up and into a square.
Okay.
And on the top, you feel another tiny hole. This one,
Even smaller.
this one is like a millimeter. There is physically no way any of you, except for Andi, could get through.
Hmm.
And even the mites that are crawling around, which you hear enough of them now that you kind of make out what they are. Even the mites have to squeeze through to get inside. They're that tiny. Mites are like ants.
Yeah. Essential, sort of tremor sensing against the thing. Does it seem like it goes down quite far again?
You sense it's hard. It's very intricate. It seems like there are spaces inside here, but they're so tiny that you can't make out you can't map it out. It's like an ant's nest in the center. Like it's like a small terrarium, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just in the center of this room.
What? Sorry, just wondering, what level is gaseous form? Sorry, polymorph.
Um,
Fourth
Let me
or
check.
fifth, I think.
Come on.
Third.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's lower
thought
than I
so.
thought.
Yep, third.
I just realised that we haven't been using my Ring of Spell Storing to its full effect.
Okay.
At the moment, I only have locate objects in it, which means I've got spare spell slots in that we haven't been populating it with.
Sure.
Just, if we did
Okay,
decide
yeah.
to take a long rest,
Or
we
even...
could do that.
Does it have to be populated at a long rest?
Well, it has to be populated ideally before a long rest, because otherwise you might as well just use the spell slot
Well,
as it is.
Well, for Eirina, sorry, Llewellyn, short rest because Warlock.
Or a short rest.
But Ring of Spell Storing stores up to 5th, right? Can store up to 5.
Yeah.
Because whilst it is a 3rd level spell, it's automatically cast at 5th, so it would take up the full ring.
Oh, would it?
I don't think you could
Sure.
cast it at 3rd into the ring. But at 5th, that would then work on 3 people.
But couldn't our new friend do that if we were to take a rest?
Sure.
Yes.
Cast polymorph into the ring.
Yeah, we have a further way down here.
But we'd have to I would say we'd have to take a rest because
This chamber the Tacklers found themselves in, there's no other exits or tunnels, and it feels like it might be the end because it's the only open space that you've found. The whole chamber itself is probably about 5 foot by 5 foot. Sorry, no, the cube is, and then the room in which the cube is placed is about 10 by 10, which is the largest space you've found up till now. That maze beforehand was just tiny. So people could actually be in here, like stand up. If Andi was to turn back into Andi, they would be able to stand on their own feet. But
is this going to be a case of we have to get ourselves from place to place, time at a time, and it's going to be quite a time waste? Like, we find a 10-foot space by 10-foot space, and then we have to find another 10-foot space by 10-foot space, and so on and so forth until we get to where we want to go.
what Tackler has found up till now, it doesn't feel like it goes any further. There's just this 5 by 5 foot cube.
So you need to
That's
be
it.
small enough to get down there or have the same ability. But get
It's got
but
the seventh region. You realized is like a maze for tiny creatures, and then in the center of this maze that you've located is a cube that is the size for ants.
yeah.
This Great Khan really wanted to hide his treasure.
Okay, but
So the cube is the vault. Is that what you're saying?
That's
Oh my god.
the cube is the vault. Yes.
You're a maniac, Chris.
trying to think how we could do this. If the cube itself is But wait, if the cube itself is the vault, then there must be a space within it, because after all, it said like the DAO had meetings and stuff, right, in the hidden fulcrum. But
Yeah.
other DAO
Right.
could be in there, but you can't have a meeting whilst there's little mist particles. That'd be weird. But that
Yeah.
But then
That would
again,
be tricky.
But then again, it's the hidden fulcrum, and a fulcrum is a kind of like lever or passage or something like that. So maybe it's something that has to be activated. Taklo sort of looks at how long roughly did it take for Andi to get here? Because obviously we're
It got there
time
pretty
sensitive.
quick the second time in, only 10 minutes.
Okay. So
It took like half an hour last time, and
Yeah.
they probably were right to head back when they did,
Yeah.
just to make sure they got there in safe time. But
okay.
they got there a lot quicker this time. They got plenty of time to spare whilst they're investigating the cube-like room. The cube vault, we'll call it.
So Taklo is gonna suggest to Andi to go check out the vault for maybe, if they spend 10 minutes in before coming out, then they should have plenty of time to get back. But of course,
Okay.
they're just like, it's up to you at the end of the day, because otherwise, the only thing I can think of is someone small enough needs to be able to go in here to activate something, because otherwise I don't see how everyone's meant to get there.
Unless it's a case of everyone gaseous forms into there, and then it's like a TARDIS where it's bigger on the inside.
But the thing is, with gaseous
Yeah.
form, even if we stored the full 5th level slot, then that would be
You wouldn't get everyone. You
That'd
could
be-
get everyone one by one,
But it would
Yeah.
take
but you
like,
wouldn't have everyone as a gas at the same time.
yeah,
At most, we
you'd
could
be able to do
have
3 people at a time per day
no
or
te-
per short rest.
technically. If we
For sure.
if we emptied the ring of spell storing, you
Yes.
could store. I'm just making a suggestion. You could store the 5th level spell slot version in there, which is 3 people.
Is
Yeah.
is he a warlock though? Is he a warlock?
That's how he understands his spells are coming back. Like on a shorter rest, he doesn't understand that, but they still mechanically come back on a short rest.
There,
Yes.
I would say
Also, the tiefling is a warlock.
no. We don't know about the tiefling, but what I'm saying is if we
That's
use
what I'm saying.
no, but if we use Eirina's version, is my point, or Lavellin's version, then that's would be cast at 5th level, so that's 3, and then
Yep.
then we short rest, and then that's another 3, so that's 6 people, and then he gives us a 7th.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Can we not ask him, because is he a warlock? Because if he's not a warlock and he can cast it, then it would be 3rd level.
Yes.
Rather than us wasting
Yes.
locate objects, which we saved exactly to the point
But
of the
the
vault so
point
we can find
is
diamonds.
But then we're only getting 2 people at a time, max.
But then we could be running on the chance of roll to find diamonds, which was the whole point. Well, other than Kesh'an's thing, the whole point of coming here. That's why we saved locate object
Well,
the
that's
whole
because
way here,
that's because we thought we might need it. But if the vault's just this small thing,
which might be bigger on the inside.
even if it's bigger on the inside, I can't see.
Let's determine that now. So whilst you're mathing the spell slot usage out, which You could do it, by the way, because when someone's casting from the ring, it's their concentration. So who's attuned to the ring? Eirina. Sorry, Elias. That means you concentrate on gaseous form, and someone else could concentrate on it, which means multiple people go through.
Yeah.
Now, yes, Jamie.
Hmm.
Jamie.
What? Oh, I was typing, and for some
You
reason,
raised. Okay, that's all right. No worries. So back to Andi. I'm going to drag Andi to the map. Now it's only at the moment. Let me just check. Okay, that means I got to drag Steph. Okay, right. Dragging Steph to the map. Mhm.
Do you want to drag me for the viewer's sake, or
Let's drag Andi out. There she is. It's the tiny Andi token. It's Chibi Andi, which makes perfect sense because you're in a tiny space at the moment. And yes, I'll drag let's drag Elias out. Sorry, Karius out. Can you still see? What if I just drag everyone? Screw it. All right, Andi.
Hang on one
Really
second. I've got
can-
to try and turn the fire sound effects down because that's really loud.
Yeah, let's go to the sound audio playlist, and then there's a playlist. The playlist slider is what you want to turn down. All right.
There's no slider.
Yeah, there is. On playlists. The little sound audio playlist. It's not in settings, it's in audio playlists. There's a little drop down. Global volume control.
The computer's really laggy, but you have to bear with me a second.
Oh yeah, this map is huge, by the way. I forget.
Oh,
Yeah, it's massive.
that means
Alright.
my computer's going to keep freezing, so bear with that.
Alright, I've dragged you away from the flame for the time being. In any case, as you travel down and into this cube, you follow these little skittering sounds, and it's not long before they enter into a chamber. And in this chamber, there are multiple pillars, and there seems to be a little brazier of light. To you, it's probably like a full-size brazier, and to the ants as well, but to everyone else outside, probably like a little candle. This room, as you can see it, has walls all around you. The chamber seems to go off in different directions. You can see passageways leading south, east, west, and there are more little torches on the walls as well that do give off illumination. And as you get closer to them, you can tell they are actually flames. They're not just magical glowing lights, which tells you that there must be some sort of oxygen in here for the flames to actually work. The only other thing you find is another room that you can spy just from this distance. There is a huge gargoyle statue with 4 arms sat inside of it. You want to keep navigating? It's up to you. I can tell you more.
I mean, I think Andi being Andi, what does she hear?
Just the sounds of this fire crackling, the skittering of nearby bugs.
She doesn't hear any sort of humanoid languages or anything like that.
No. None nearby, no. You go like once around the room, and you feel like this room it's fairly abandoned, aside from the skittering of little ants, which are big in this space, but still. Other than that, there's no one down here. And the warmth of the fire almost feels like kind of a safer space, like a little campfire. A Dark
Okay.
Souls campfire.
How much longer has she got?
You got a good like 45 minutes.
Okay. I might peek just a little bit further. I'm not going to go near the statue because I don't want that thing to suddenly start moving if I
Sure,
go
you
near
avoid
it.
the statue. How do you navigate? Do you want to go systematically, like across the walls, following them around, or do you just
Pretty
sort of
much.
pick a direction? Okay, systematically. All right.
I'm not going to go too far down each way. I just want to see if there's any kind of like
Yeah.
obvious directions that might lead to something.
These little stairs are actually the ones you would have come down to get into this chamber. So that's where the hole leads out. Navigating down, you find a T section. You could go left or right. The space on the right is much tighter, even for you. It's even smaller still. Or you can go on the
It's still
path
like
on the
too
left.
narrow for like a person to walk down here and things.
You're the size of like an ant at the moment. Yeah. And the ants are about the same size as you, right? So where's a swarm of insects? Kind of want to just grab these. Say these are the same size as you. All right. But you can go left or right.
Something tells me the right as it's narrower.
You go right. You go again. You come into a T section. You can go left or right.
Mm.
The passage on the left is much more visible. Kind of stretches out onwards, and then there looks to be another turn. And the passage on the right wraps around. Ah, we got control. Okay.
It's only because I'm leaning over.
Okay. Coming into this
Yeah, there's a
space,
bit on the table.
there's oddly some leaves scattered on the floor, and even some plant growth, actually eking its way through the brickwork and such. Like there's physical plant life down here, so that kind of further confirms there must be breathable air down here. This is probably what's providing the oxygen. In fact, you look over the wall closer, and there's mold and algae over it. As you come to this wall, the one you just walked up into, the very small dead end, there's actually a symbol on the door. Yeah, there's. I say a door because it's very visible for you. There's some sort of seams on the wall, and there's a symbol that looks like a sort of a cog shape, with an arrow going through it. You don't see any space for your gaseous form to actually push through. It's completely sealed shut. But there's an obvious symbol there, like as if it was a door, like that kind of shape.
I'll try and remember that at least.
Okay, sure.
Um,
Coming around to here is a complete dead end. There's a small little torch on the wall, but other than that, you seem like it's stuck there. Okay, going around. There's a set of stairs that lead up,
yeah.
and then they lead back down again,
Okay. So just this.
which, from an
something underneath.
architectural point of view, makes no sense, unless they were
Unless
trying
there's
to.
like a tunnel underneath it.
Right. Exactly that.
Oh, okay.
You could guess. It's either that or there's something else at large here. But you're just a gas,
Ooh.
just sort of floating through the corridor, just swirling around. Another set of steps you come to, wrap around and go up. Sorry, these ones? Yeah, they go up.
Oh God, there's just like so many different passages.
There is, yeah. You're going for a while.
I could be down here all rages.
Good.
Then.
Come to another dead end. It's at this point, I'd like you to make a perception check.
Okay.
You know how you were asking for earlier, like, is there humanoid voices anywhere? That's when you hear them. A voice in Terran is speaking to another voice that's kind of acknowledging each word and going, uh-huh. You speak primordial, so you would understand the Terran. The voice is a sort of familiar voice as well. Even with the 28, you can sort of recognize it. And it says, "They're bound to be through here. Make sure you are ready. It'll go as planned. As soon as we hear them, I will cast a spell. There will be nothing they can do against you. Simply cut them down. And remember, bring that Raheem alive to me." And you just hear in response, "Yes, master."
Yay, back I go. Right.
That's even if they figure out how to get in here. They might just starve to death. Or maybe they'll get hungry. Both of them seem to laugh at this, as if something is humorous about it. The echoes of laughter get more and more distant as you come back around and into the chamber where you can see the little mites crawling around. Their little antennas kind of clicking.
Can I kind of just watch them for a little while and see what they actually do, whether they actually interact with the space at all, or?
Yeah, sure. Some of them seem to go back and forth from that area where the algae is, and they seem to be like almost nibbling away on that sometimes, or maybe they're pollinating it. Yeah, maybe it's a source of food. And they seem to just be meandering around though, like ants are wont to do. They just explore into new areas. And when they come to a dead end, they sort of twitch their antennas around and then they seem to turn around and come back. And then some of them do go back up through the hole, through the stairs, sorry, which you came down.
And is that primarily the way that they come in and out? There's no other kind of base.
Yeah, you watch them for a while, and after observing them for just a few minutes, it does seem to be the in and out. Yeah,
Okay.
that is the way. And you see them come into this little space, and they go looping around, and they don't seem to find any exit or entrance here either.
Okay. Well, that's a loop.
Yep. And at this point, you've pretty much explored everywhere except the four-armed gargoyle room. But
Cool.
well,
Okay.
I say everywhere. You've not gone past where you heard the voices, of course, but
Yeah. Okay, I might venture cut then.
okay. You're accompanied by a few of these mites. Almost feel like an escort for you as you head back out and up the stairs, looping around, and then finally out of the box, back into the 6th region. Taklo's there. Egbert still there as well. Egbert's probably pecking at the floor, and that's it. You've done your little scouting. You know there's a very dangerous. I'll say who it is. You recognize the voice as Zalazil. Of course, the Dow who was sent to hunt Raheem. He lost him at some point, and he wasn't on the chase, but it sounds like he got ahead of you at some point. and is laying a trap, some sort of spell that will make this Minotaur untouchable.
Yeah,
That's what you can.
She'll kind of sort of circle around Taklo and circle around Egbert, trying to get Egbert's attention away from trying to nibble Might, and sort of like gesture for them to come on back out.
Teklo nods and will start heading back, and when they get to the hole that they got stuck in, he's just gonna grease it up, let them slip
Grease
through.
it up. Nice. Okay. You guys can slip through using that grease. I'm gonna say that that expenditure of that resource manages to overcome that obstacle, and you're back to the others. Everyone, you hear the sounds of Egbert's mechanical little bird sounds, and Taklo's breaths. And Andi, you can form back into your humanoid self.
My appendages.
Oh no.
You don't know how nice it is to have appendages.
I look at my missing hand.
Wait. I have plenty of bandages.
Everyone else, Iri's just looking at their hand like this. But
Oh,
to you,
Lord.
you just
It's
see a
sad.
hook. Yeah. Something about their hand has really gotten down.
So, it's kind of good and not good news. Father, your friend, she says in air quotes, is down there and is setting a trap for.
Valazil got here. And I'm guessing his other. You say his big friend,
Yes,
Moton.
yeah.
Wait.
They're expecting us.
Great.
And they want you alive, but the rest of us, not so much.
But isn't that a good thing? Because that means you found a space big enough for, well, a Minotaur.
Potentially, I didn't go all the way down.
But you heard them.
They were both there, though I was the size of, well, an ant. The pathways down there are very thin.
How's a Minotaur the size of an ant? It's going to be very.
Maybe it was an ant the size of a Minotaur.
Maybe.
How do you set a trap?
That doesn't sound fun.
that small?
I don't want to deal with a ant the size of a Minotaur.
That'd be a giant.
So we kind of have an
Shut
idea
up.
of how to make
Get
more
out.
of us in that form.
Wait. There is plus sides.
Wait.
There was
okay.
real fire down there, and plant life, which means the air is breathable.
I can breathe. Good. All
That's
right.
good at least.
That's how we get everyone down there, and we've been discussing that.
Yeah. So I am so sorry. Tiefling guy?
Lokshun.
Lokshun. Sorry, we've met so many people down here. Like,
Yeah, I'll wear my name badge here.
probably a good idea.
Nice to meet you, Logshoe.
I mean, it
How
would be,
do
but we can't
you-
see, so. Not really
Yeah,
effective.
how are you able to do what they do? Because obviously we know that you can cast gaseous form on other people. How are you able to do that?
I draw my magic from a different well of arcane, not from.
Like blood or a book or
The moon?
Your glaive.
The moon?
Why you think the moon?
The moon.
why do you keep saying moon?
He
It's
mi-
not the moon.
He misses the moon.
The sun?
The moon.
Not the sun either. Let's not guess. Just know
What-
that I can recover my magics if we were to have a longer rest.
What I'm saying is, can you put that in my ring?
Yes, that is possible.
It sounds well, Not quite exactly how it sounds. But
It
yes.
can be done. Yes, I still have another spell available as well.
Okay.
That would give us at most 5, though, right?
He recasts darkness and looks for the ring.
I'm just like, as I'm trying to feel out for someone with 2 horns.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
He comes right up to you because he can see with the darkness and. Aha. Right. Is
I'm
this the
just
one? You feel him tap it.
Yeah, I'm just like feeling his face, and I'm like, ooh,
Uh,
how pretty.
that he suddenly jerks away. You do feel the horns. Bear in mind. When you say pretty, it's anything but.
Is it? Aren't tieflings meant to be like?
Yes.
He feels far larger than what you'd expect. In fact, when you're trying to find his face, you end up touching his chest. And it's
nothing like
it's
your grinder
broad.
profile.
It's
an
broad
illusion.
and muscular. And when you go up to feel his face, it's like up there, right? It's like he's standing like a head and shoulders above you.
How tall are you talking here? Like, if I'm like 5'6", 7.
I just got what you said, Steph. Oh
He's
no.
a larger creature.
He is.
He's
Wait.
he's a muscular boy, like big,
Yeah. All right.
big and heavy.
Right. So there's the ring.
Yeah, he kind of flinches away. You're trying to like feel him up, and he grabs the ring and just taps it, and then says, there's your spell."
Secondly, what even?
I'm
Like, your face, like going off what I remember of you, your face should be here, but right now I feel like I'm feeling your tits.
Let's not get into that. Just but I didn't give you permission. Just
I'm sorry. I don't know if you can see right now, but I'm blindfolded. So
He doesn't want tea.
he backs away, and at this point, Tackler even hears a kind of a heavier thudding to his footsteps. James?
Yeah, I was going to ask, because if it's a visual illusion that can be felt through, then surely the tremor sense should pick up his actual shape.
And it's at that point you remember, whoosh, flashing back to when the dustlets tell you, yeah, there was someone looked like you, horns, blue skin, but they sounded heavier than what they looked. And it was something that was glossed over a long, long time ago. But I mentioned it, and everyone was like, hmm? But then it kind of got faded into obscurity as it never became one.
Excuse you, I recall actually saying that there was a Minotaur down there because you said he had horns and was heavier, so it wasn't glossed over at all.
I
right.
have an odd theory, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but considering his height and rough build that he's described as, and considering at least one of the spells he has access to, and his considerable strength because he's wielding a heavy glaive, does he in the time that Tackler's been tremor sensing him, does he respond at all to either of the items that Karius is carrying?
Which items are those?
The flail and the adamantine shield, which we got from
When you say,
the stone sorcerer's home.
when you say react to, do you mean
like does he? Because obviously we ran into him and I didn't have them when we last saw him.
Okay.
So was he surprised to see Karius with them, or was there like any reaction?
No real reaction when it comes to those two particular items. No.
Because I was trying to think why someone might want to disguise themselves, and why someone who's a spellcaster would have that sort of physical strength. And the only physical strength one I can think of is Zankiri.
Right, like the stone sorcerer. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he doesn't seem to pick up on the fact that you've got the adamantine flail. not really reading anything into that either.
Okay.
Okay, so
I have a theory, but it's metagaming, so I need to.
the
shut
way
up.
we're going to do this then,
Meta.
you've got one spell in there that can turn someone into a gas, and we've got your friend, was it Eirina? They can cast multiple gaseous forms. So the plan is to get us in there one by one.
Oh,
Irina's dead.
interesting thought.
Yes.
Do you still have the little white orb, Irina?
White orb.
You know, I've seen you use it before we came into the Earth plane.
Why do you all keep looking at me?
Because
The
you're
little white orb you have.
Eirina.
It's like my ring, but it's like a little white orb. I'm pretty sure you used it to use legend lore as well, but
I think he
I-
means it's like it was one of like the moonstones that we got back on the floating islands.
You guys will. Wait, what?
I think they mean the pearl. I think Jamie's trying to
Fire.
indicate the pearl of power.
yeah, I don't know what it is in terms of Elias. But the little white
Oh,
orb, yeah, because
like
couldn't,
literally, Eirina is literally it's a necklace.
Yeah.
yeah, couldn't someone like store a third level spell in that, which is another gaseous form? Sorry, another polymorph.
The Pearl of Power, yeah, acts as an extra spell slot.
Of up to third level, which is yeah. So if someone else used that, that would be another gaseous
It-
form.
Is an attunement item.
It
Yes.
is. But we're for lock.
And it's not a storing of the item though. It's
No, it's literally just the spell slot.
Which means you'd have
But-
to drop something if you were to use it.
but Eirina has,
And I assume you won't trust Lockshone with it.
or Llewellyn, you can cast now. You get 3 spell slots a day, right?
I get 3 spell slots, yes, and then the Pearl of Power gave me a 4th when I was attuned to it.
Okay.
'Cause
So
I'm not currently attuned.
because if we were to take a long rest, which we could do with before going into there, then with 1 use of it we could get, and the 2 casting of that, we could get 5 people through, and then he can cast it at least 1 more time, so that's a 6th person. There's like 20 of us. I honestly think we're not going to get everyone through. It will take forever to do it.
It would.
But if
But
we...
you're realizing at this point you can.
Yeah, but...
That's the important thing. You can get everyone in there.
Just it'd take a few days.
To be
Not
honest...
necessarily.
To be
It'd just take a
honest-
few hours.
Oh yeah, because short rests.
Short rest would allow Llewellyn to use gaseous form every hour 3 times at 5th level.
Which gets 9, which would get 9 people through each time,
There
each
you go.
short rest.
So we're talking 2 short rests and you're in. Because Lokshun fills up the last 2 people.
But then there's also the first time, which is going to take longer than usual, because once we enter the area, we've got to deal with, bitch face.
Yeah, that's a problem, because, well, we could, if we take a long rest, or even if we take a short rest, a couple of short rests, we could get everyone into that 10 by 10 area, so we're at least closer.
Yep. Sure. You could do that within 2 hours.
But how much do we want to bring the others with us? I'm wondering. No, we can't leave them here. We'll have to take them with us. But if we can get through to that area first, that's probably a safer area to long rest, because it's not going to keep messing with our vision, from what we understand.
Yeah.
To be fair, why don't we take a vote? Because Zybits and Still wanted this whole thing to happen, so maybe they're okay with just wanting to stay.
True.
True.
It seems a bit weird to be like, yeah, you want to escape, guys, don't you? Considering you wanted this whole thing to happen initially.
All right. So you want to talk around the room.
So
You see the Chrismals pop their heads out of the bag of holding, and they're like,
who
this
who
is our home, but it seems like our home is going through a lot of change.
isn't that what you wanted? Like
Yes.
this.
Once the Tao have left, we'll be able to reclaim our nest.
So we're gonna continue on, and then leading on, hopefully will take us out of here. So shall we take a vote? Who wants to stay and who wants to go?
We will not partake in the vote. We will simply stand by. We are awaiting our home's evacuation. One day we can return to it. We
So
can
by
repopulate. And you see the little two scorpions like hold hands, but they're holding tails.
Yeah.
Aww.
What about you two, Golgar? I mean, you can come with us, or you can stay behind and see what happened to the Earth plane. All things considered.
Just know that the coming with us means potentially going to the world.
We were serving the Tao, and if the Tao are no longer welcome, I see little reason for us to stay. This place is dangerous as well. What with that creature tearing our hole, we should leave.
So that makes 8 of us we need to get through.
What about
And
you goblins?
goblins?
Yep. Yugmug and the rest of the Frozen Flame say, we want to set up a new monastery, or perhaps join the one that is on the material plane the Kesh'an's told us about.
So coming with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
So we're very badly injured.
Yeah.
16.
We've been fighting those conifex constructs. We didn't get a moment to breathe.
We're gonna take a long rest regardless.
Then great. We will
what-
happily recover during that time.
But you want to come with to them to Nidra?
Earthplane isn't our home. We were enslaved here a long time ago, generations ago. We learned to live down here and adapt thanks to Lodorvu, who taught us how to defend ourselves. But
So
this isn't our home.
okay.
Well, our ancestors, it definitely wasn't their home.
Right. So assuming everybody in our party wants to go home, including Raheem, that makes 16 of us.
I vote home.
Okay. Lost to Earth?
Home.
Home. Okay. 17. Lokshun?
I am interested about where it is you're planning on going. You say you wish to go home,
but there's no exit down there.
Yeah, but
This is the vault of the Great Khan.
We have a way out once we're in.
well, potentially a
Hopefully.
way out, but yeah. If
then
everything
I will
goes to
stay
plan.
close.
Okay. So that makes 18 people.
Yep. Like I say, you could do it within 2 short rests.
So 2 short rests, 18 people. We get to the 10-foot
Yep.
by 10-foot space.
If you want to do that, that's fine.
Is that are we all agreed on that as a party?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Alright. Okay.
Kesh'an, do you have any disagreements on that, or do you
No,
want to do
I
your own
just
thing
didn't
again,
start.
or sorry, Karius, you want to do your own thing again, or did you agree with the party?
I mean,
there we go.
This seems like the sensible suggestion.
Good to know. TM, you want to sneeze again, or
Okay, looks like we're good. So, Llewellyn, over the course of 2 hours, you rest, recuperate, and you're able to. It seems like your spells are coming back quicker than they are normally. Maybe
If
it's
that's
just
the case, I'm gonna like after I've rested, I'm literally eyeing Lockshun. Like I'm watching him out of the corner of my eye because he's suspicious.
okay. You keep your eye on him the whole time. He is also sort of resting, but
Is he though?
his eyes open occasionally and look across the room. You can give me an insight check if you are trying to read
'Cause the
him.
guy was literally kind of like, oh, but like you're saying about going home. Oh, I'll go with you if you have a way out.
He was, yeah, you're on insight.
yeah, can I insight because obviously I felt him up.
The only thing you can think, Llewellyn, is that he's clearly more discerning than the others. He's clearly more intelligent, whereas the others are like, we want to go home, zog zog. This guy's obviously going, well, how do you intend to get home? Like he's thinking ahead, which makes you think he's a forward thinker, and he's more intelligent than the goblins and the Golgar. But other than that, you don't pick up any suspicious behavior. But he's clearly a forward thinker. He's got 5 steps ahead.
Yeah. Because I felt his form. Would I be able
Yeah,
to like insight or nature
yeah.
check or
You
like
can.
what?
Ooh, it's hard. Insight's probably going to be your best bet, but because you were feeling blind, and the only thing you could make out was he was larger than what you initially thought. Very
Was he?
muscular.
Yeah, but
Um,
was he furry? Was
no,
he
no,
just skin or
wasn't furry. Skin. It was skin. Definitely skin.
okay? Insight then.
Yeah, sure. That's why I say if you were to roll something else, you probably wouldn't gain as much information. I'd just be telling you they just seemed big and muscular. Um, but insight 20, okay. He's looking. He does occasionally open his eyes and looks around the room. Um, the people he got 20. It's actually good. He does seem to look around the room, occasionally looking at everyone. Out of everyone, though, I'll tell you what. It's weird because he looks at everyone at least once. But there's someone he doesn't. There's people he doesn't give a second look at. He doesn't give a second look at the Golgars, the Chrismals, Egbert, Taklo. Those. I'm just gonna group them up here. I don't know
Because
why you picked up on that, but you rolled a 20, so I'm gonna just tell you that he doesn't seem the least bit interested in these guys.
anything made of inorganic material. So he's some sort of flesh lover. Whatever
Or
whatever that means.
or blood, because none of those would have blood he can easily get to.
Yeah, it's like
So-
anything without a pulse.
A vampire.
Yeah, but can vampires cast spells into a ring? We thought this originally was he a vampire, but then also, would a vampire explain his hulking form?
It certainly explain the physical strength, because they can look quite.
I also don't think vampires are limited to what they can look like.
That's true. He could be a vampire Goliath.
He could be a big boy.
Yeah, but I definitely still felt
Hey, Flash
horns.
Shaman here.
I
He
still
was
felt
bigger than a
horns.
Goliath.
though.
By the way, he was even bigger than a Goliath.
Are we talking?
Lycan?
Yeah, but not furry.
You know who?
Yeah, but you don't have to. Once
you
again,
do.
you
It's
don't.
annoying me because I just want to blurt my theory out.
You know what his ability
Good.
reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Andy's with the whole shadow thing, because we obviously saw what looked like a dead tiefling So if he absorbed
Yeah.
the shadow of it, he could form an illusion of that around him. But then he could only do that a limited amount of times, but it's still similar-ish.
Another thing you'd notice is the reason why he's able to look at everyone during this is because he casts darkness again and again and again and again throughout the whole 8 hours you guys are. Oh wait, 2 hours you are resting.
That would the
2
only-
hours of darkness, by the way, is 12 castings of darkness.
So he's some sort of being of darkness?
He's a lich.
Or
Llewellyn's spell petered out a long time ago.
or Shadow Sorcerer could do that because they can cast it with their sorcery points, right?
No, but I
And
don't think
then
it's
they
going to be
can-
a.
And they can see through it.
I don't think it's going to be a class thing.
No, but that would be a close.
But what you understand is he can cast darkness a lot of times, almost it feels like endlessly. And that's the way he's able to look at everyone whilst he's waiting for you guys to fully gaseous form. And one by one, you guys go in, and that's probably, you know what, that makes more sense now. Why you pick up on it is because he doesn't seem to know. He doesn't seem to give any care in the world when the Golgars are getting cast on it. He only pays attention when
Yeah,
it's the rest of you,
I'm
because you're going in one by one.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the last people to go through because I want to make sure everyone gets through.
Okay.
And I wait for him to like use his first before I use mine.
Sure. He does so.
And
When
then
does he go? Does he go?
He goes whenever you tell him to go. Whenever, like,
And then-
he's not fussed.
yeah, I'm waiting until he's last, and it's just me and
Sure.
him and the last gaseous form in my ring,
Gotcha.
and I'm just like, what are you? Like, it doesn't make sense. Everything you've done so far.
You are right to be suspicious.
If you came clean, then maybe we wouldn't be so suspicious and we wouldn't be so concerned.
There are things I wish to keep close to my chest. After all, I don't fully know who you are.
But-
You're
And that-
clearly a powerful spellcaster. This is just Elias here, by the way. Just Elias. Yeah, he's waited specifically to have just a
okay.
one-on-one.
Okay,
I don't know about the rest of you. One of you could be a spy. Those elementals could have their own agenda.
spy for what?
I have no
All-
idea.
All
I just know that the people I've found down here are usually only out for themselves. You're the first who I've come across who've actually offered to help me. And as such, I've tried to offer where I can help back.
well,
Now,
just
I don't expect our little alliance to continue once we get out of here. I expect to go my own way,
what
and you
makes
to
you
go yours.
what makes you think it couldn't, unless you trust us, or at least trust me, and I won't say anything unless it's absolutely necessary.
You can roll me a persuasion check, Elias.
I'm pretty sure persuasion's my best thing.
Here it is.
Yeah, it is.
He says, "It's true. This form is not my own. I use this so that others do not feel alarmed or threatened."
Well, if you've not got anything evil intent to hide, then if they do become suspicious, I will stand in
There
front.
are those who will attack me on sight for what I am. For
And
now, can
and
we
that's-
simply agree that
So long as you do not hurt me, I will not harm you. Let us get out of here and
Okay.
go our separate ways.
Well, considering what we've just done, I don't think I can just say let's agree to go on with and go our separate ways unless I know what I'm with. I know everything else that I'm with. I know.
But that's my point. If I am to show you my true form, and that affects your decision, does not justify me keeping my illusion? Because you're going to
Is
judge me by what I look like, by what I am.
I clearly you don't know me. I don't judge by looks.
In which case, does it not matter what I look like? What I choose to wear?
Well, it's not what you look like that matters. It's what are you? Is what I'm
You're
asking.
saying you're just curious.
I'm curious to know what you are and whether my friends are safe, and that includes knowing what you are.
My word. Your friends do not intend any harm upon me, then I intend none against them.
But also, if I don't know what you are and they decide to turn because they're suspicious, I can't back you up because I don't know what you are. This is
I
the
tell
point.
you, you're saying that you'll have my back if your friends were to attack.
Yes. Assuming
Very well.
you mean no evil intent.
He gets close to you, and he whispers what he is.
Oh my god. I
It's the part where he cuts out his customary cut out for the session.
Yep.
Actually, as he's frozen.
Yay!
He's gone. It's always at the same roughly the same time. Wow.
Perfect. He is. And that's where we'll cut that little scene as the rest of you arrive in a misty form into the room. You're now standing in a 10 by 10 foot chamber. There isn't much light in here, but if you're in your humanoid form, Andi and Eirina have that kind of glowing opalite. You can see there are little mites crawling around on the walls and the ceiling, and in the center is a 5 by 5 foot cube that looks to be made of a different material to the stone around you. Maybe some sort of metal, but it's clearly firmly lodged into the ground, like it goes down through the earth, so you can't move it. It's not like a crate in the room. It's like some sort of monolith that goes into the earth, and you're only seeing the very top of it. And on the very top surface is a inch wide space, and that's what Andi went down and traveled around and said that there was Zalazil and the Minotaur waiting for them inside somewhere. But if you was to look at this thing and just a first glance, you would picture it like a safe, like a big metal safe. So, a
Right.
very fitting description for what could be the vault.
so sorry, Chris. Discord cut out as usual.
That's fine.
Between 9 and half 9. Do I know what that is?
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
Yeah.
And yeah, vaguely. Okay, I'll tell you what that is, but I'm not going to go into much detail. Okay.
No.
All right. I'm whispering you, so give me a second. Steph, what did you want?
It wasn't me. It was Andy.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I want to nick some parchment and a pencil and draw the kind of like cog design thingy as well that I saw, so everyone else can see it.
Okay. Yep. You draw out that symbol. Say that you found it in one of the dead ends on a door. Look, perhaps like a door.
it could be like an entryway or a lock or something.
Does it seem reminiscent of something we saw on the floating island Temple of Sun and Moon? Because they had a lot of engineering and gears and cogs and that sort of stuff.
I mean, we also have
True.
Egbert.
A cog is a mechanical shape that you would understand as some sort of mechanism. It's a very distinct shape. So you have seen that similar idea, but it's not like a symbol that represents their house or their tribe or anything like that.
No, but I mean, does it look like it's a mechanical piece? Right,
Yeah,
I
it
found the settings panel.
Yeah.
What?
Now we just got to turn it off.
What if we just flooded it out?
Did it out?
I mean, there's one little tiny opening. What if we flooded it out? They're in there.
Could we flood the cube? That's not a bad idea. Like, would it like magnify the amount of water that goes into it?
And we wouldn't even necessarily have to use water. Karius just pulls out a bottle of oil.
Ooh, and then we set it on fire.
Hold on, set the metal on fire? It is made of metal.
No, but
I mean,
if
No,
they're
like, all
shrunk
the oil
down
through the
inside
crack.
in there,
Mm.
then the oil would then cover them and would set them on fire.
Okay, yeah. I see where you're going. Yeah. See where you're going.
I mean, from what I could find, there was only like one entrance.
Yeah.
Potentially one entrance. So there's only one exit, only one way for the water to go.
You said there's like a 1-inch gap on top of this, right? And like going through and that sort of pattern. Does that almost feel like, this is going to sound weird, like almost like the tumblers of like a lock? Like this cube itself is almost like a giant lock, and those tunnels Andi was going through were like the tumblers and like pins and stuff that you'd get.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. You could argue something like that. You could definitely picture it and imagine it something like that.
Because then I'm wondering. Because the
If
thing
you look
is,
at the hole, you look at the hole a bit closer, and maybe it does sort of resemble less of a square and more like a slight rectangle, like a key shape. Yeah, almost.
because
But-
thinking on it, the scroll specifically mentioned needing potions of diminution, right? But a potion of
Yeah.
diminution wouldn't get you in here because that can only put you to like tiny at the most. It's not going to shrink you down to like 1 inch, can it? I don't think so.
Not normally. You've only heard of them going down to tiny sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andi, Raheem, weird pitch, but do you think you could potentially? It kind of looks like a safe. Do you think you could pick it?
Try.
Because it's a vault, right? And
Okay.
vault would have a lock.
So, and the mechanisms in which, first of all, you haven't seen any tumblers as such, but you do know a little bit of the layout of that space. That's not the right level. This is the right level. Out of game, do you actually think you could fit a pick around this corner and then around another corner and then another corner?
Well, no, not necessarily. But, you know, them saying that, and she's thinking about the way it's laid out inside, she's like, it's very well could be cogs or something in there. Because I went up a set of stairs and then down another set of stairs immediately after. So, could have been like a cog.
Because
Can I see at all on the outside where the line is on the outside at all?
Say that again. Can you see what's on the outside?
The little design I took down from the kind of like mossy Is it on the outside at all?
No, it is not, I'm afraid.
Okay.
It's more like a very sturdy metal square shape. No sign of that symbol anywhere. No.
I'd say we just flood it.
We going with the oil or water?
Let's try the water first and see if that actually does anything. No point in wasting the oil.
Alright.
Karius will shape water from his thing and start pouring water into it because he can just pull it back
Yeah.
out.
You flood
Tiny
it,
little
and
thing.
What was that, Andi?
Um,
Before I...
sorry,
He's
yeah.
saying sorry to the mites.
Yeah, there's immediately a flooding of the mites, so they all come to the surface. They can tell something's about to go down. They all cling together and they float up, and all of them scatter out of the interior. You also see a little tiny bit of smoke, just a tiny trail of it pop out as if something inside is extinguished like a candle. And you fill it up quite quickly, like it's already immediately full.
Ah, the temptation. Ah, I could do it. I could. Shape water, freeze it?
Okay.
Because as the
Sure,
water
yeah,
It's
expands...
metal.
You freeze it.
Okay.
However, it doesn't seem to break or even show any signs of weakness on the
Okay.
metal or the interior.
But...
The ice, what would happen is kind of like it forces its way out of the hole, and
Yeah.
you see a sort of a burgeoning of ice come out.
Excellent.
the
That's
top.
kind of exactly what I wanted, because I've now basically flooded the inside. If this thing is like a cog, can I attempt to turn it now? Like, actually turn the cube using this as like a grip almost.
Doesn't seem like it. This thing is not just on the ground sitting
It's
on it.
like embedded.
It feels like it goes down into the earth. Yeah, more like, as I said, it's like a monolith that goes into the earth.
As I catch up, like, what are we working with? Assuming have we come to a space where we're not gaseous anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we working with?
There's a small cube with a tiny hole in it, which apparently has well, not apparently, has a minotaur and a dowel and seemingly ants and a fire in, and I've just flooded it quite easily.
Yeah. There's loads of ants crawling out of the place, evacuating. Some of them are like crawling over your shoes and such.
Did the other two evacuate? Are we waiting on a?
No, they didn't. They did not evacuate.
Which means they could just be frozen, but then again, it wouldn't work because I can't freeze creatures if they're in it, I think. But Karius will just melt the water and manipulate it back into his thing and be like, I didn't seem to do anything apart from get rid of the ants and put out maybe any fires in there.
Are we going to try and go in?
The problem is, at this point, unless we can definitely... This is probably the point to have a rest before we go in, like a proper rest. Because otherwise, if we are going to get into a fight, we're not going to be in a fit state. And we probably want at least one person to be able to go in sneakily and scout out an area for everyone to be able to reform in safety.
If
we will be able to.
If we did have a rest, I could turn into an ant or a mite, or turn someone into an ant or a mite. Using, polymorph.
Could do.
Not a bad idea.
How big
But
did
I
you say the cube was?
5 foot on each side.
But I couldn't do it right now. And then if we need to, Andy's already been in there, hasn't she?
Yep.
Yeah, but
so then we do the whole gaseous form idea once a space has been found.
Yeah, that's true. Eirina, are you getting any magic from this with your whole magic vision thing, which I'm pretty sure you have, right? Or am I misremembering?
She doesn't
I-
have.
No,
I think you're misremembering.
no, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
misremembering. Wait, what about your
It's
ability?
Llewellyn.
What about your ability to see through walls?
Yeah.
Isn't that the T-shirt?
No,
Andy tucks the t-shirt over it.
there is that as well. We could potentially. Karius puts on the outside, see if they can see, but it's metal, so
Oh.
you probably won't see through it.
Yeah, it does not work on the metal, either because of the natural substance it's made of, like lead, which is oftentimes used against divination type magic, or because there is some sort of magical barrier blocking it. But in any case, it doesn't work.
Okay, then if we don't have
You
anyone
just
who can
get it covered in mites.
if we don't have anyone who can automatically like Eldritch Sight sort of thing, then Karius will start ritually casting Detect Magic.
Okay.
Might as well
John,
Yes.
you can speak, understand, and be understood in any language, yes?
Yes.
I just you to the mites on the floor.
I don't think I can hear them.
They do not have a language that you understand necessarily. So it's you understand all languages. The little mites aren't really speaking a language. They're just kind of meandering around. But as you're pointing out those mites, Karius, finishing Detect Magic, there's transmutation magic coming from all the ants. And there's abjuration magic all over the cube. The vault, or the safe, we'll call it.
transmutation magic on the ants, so
Yep. They're glowing quite brightly. They almost look like little glow bugs or like fireflies.
Oh, I have the most disgusting idea.
Bet dispel magic would be great here.
The abjuration on the cube is a very high level magic, whatever it is. But what's your disgusting idea?
Karius is gonna pick up one of the mites and try to eat it. See if it
Make me a
works like a potion
constitution.
of transmutation.
Make me a constitution save.
Karius lives in a desert. It's probably not that bad.
Oh, that's true, yeah. You know, you may have had to feast on insects before. Yeah, you're fine. There's a horrible crunching and ugh,
Need sugar.
disgusting texture to it that's just constantly chewy and chewy and chewy. After a few seconds, though, you see a lot Karius beginning to shrink smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller,
Oh, cool.
and
I'll
he
eat,
is down to an ant size. Yeah.
I'll eat a mite as well, I guess.
The
And
problem
at this
is,
point,
the thing is, I don't know how to stop it, but communicating with Taklo telepathically still, because I can, and potentially speaking through Taklo. Right, that worked, but probably good idea to rest before everyone else does it. Because unless we want to go in half cocked.
That's a fair point. How long does this last?
Don't know. I'm guessing I'm napping as an ant.
Should we find out?
I mean, I'm just.
I search my purse for an empty jar and I start picking up.
Okay, give me a dex check to sort of, because after crunching down on this, and the others seem to go into a panic and start skittering away, and so you pull out a jar, try to capture as many as you can. Yeah, give me like you can give me like a sleight of hand, and yeah, you can try to herd them and aid this. Yeah, give me advantage.
I'll try and use my shield so you know, like when you put it in front of a spider or something, and then the spider crawls onto the shield.
Yeah, you're like herding them into the jar. Okay, so give me. This will be a sleight of hand with advantage. You don't want to.
Oh no!
Have one hand. Have one hand.
You have one hand.
Oh god, yeah. You're looking at Eirina, and you're like, why isn't she using her other hand? But
whilst transform, am I ant-sized or am I an ant?
You're ant-sized, yeah.
Can I attempt to use gust to blow them into the jar as well?
Your gust is like a little. It's nothing at this stage. your little gust is like, just
Yeah,
no one
but-
even feels it.
but-
No one even knows you've cast a spell.
But the
It's like,
ants would, because they're the same size as me, right? And it would normally
okay,
affect
so you
someone the
might be able
same
to
size as me.
you might be able to gust one of them, but even that, they're quite strong when they're this size, right?
Yep.
And I don't think gust actually pushes an ant, so it doesn't have any effect, I'm afraid.
I mean,
Irina,
do
8.
objects, yeah. It can
8
push
is
things
how many
5
you
feet
get.
away from me.
Oh, it can? Okay. Then yes, you'll be able to push maybe 5 foot. I'll make a save for it. Strength save, right?
Yeah. Haha, it fails.
Cool.
It's tiny.
alright.
Karius blows an ant in.
You get 1 extra ant. There you go. 9 ants you get altogether.
Have an idea. Oh, we have 9
the-
ants.
The rest skitter away back into the 6th region.
Okay.
And have
Do you-
disappeared.
Do you have another jar
Um,
or another something?
no.
Hmm.
I could have sworn I did.
Does
but no.
does anybody have some sort of jar or?
Could have sworn I had an
Oh.
empty ink pot somewhere, but apparently not. I must have used it or lost it somewhere along the way.
Need someone with something. I'm thinking if we put a jar out, or if you have somewhere to put what you've just captured into something else, then put a piece of meat in there, leave it outside the tiny hut over the period while we rest, and they should come skittering in because food. Either that or we attract maggots somehow, but
You're probably better off with like honey or sugar or something like that.
yeah, but all I have is rations.
Um,
I mean, there's probably sugar in the bread.
we do also. Andi does also have that leftover cake.
Which is
Because
probably moldy.
because there's
Yeah, I think we
what?
established last session that it's moldy now.
Yeah, because we've got 18 of us and we need another 9 ants.
Come back.
Well, 8 ants because Karius is.
Uh-huh.
What time while we're
Alright.
resting?
Mhm.
Are you taking a long rest at this point?
Yep.
In this 10-foot area? Okay.
Also, can I also scoop Karius up into the jar that Eirina just
You can try.
had? I will try.
I'm just gonna glaive flying up to the top corner.
I am going to attempt to grab Karius and put him in the jar
Okay.
because he deserves it. After last session.
Alright, Karius, you can make me an acrobatics check. I'm gonna say with advantage because you're so tiny. It's like trying to catch a gnat. And Elias, you can make me an athletics check.
Athletics.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because it's grapple.
Ah.
great. So
Okay, that's not good. Yeah, I didn't think so.
he's so small and he's zipping around everywhere. It's like trying to catch a gnat by its wings.
Yep. And if you
I-
do come close, he just shocking grabs your hand.
See, suggesting that I expect it to be dexterity based, like Mr. Miyagi with the chopsticks. Athletics didn't make sense, but
Grapple check, D&D rules.
damn
Oh.
it.
Great. So
Damn it.
So Karius will just sleep on his glaive about 3-4 foot from the ceiling, just chilling there. Probably tie himself on so he doesn't fall off in his sleep.
how many of you are there? Okay. He remains quite small for a long time. For like at least an hour before you start to see him becoming larger and larger, and eventually pops back into full size Karius after about an hour.
So
Actually, let me just check. Enlarge, reduce the potion, diminution.
It's like 10 minutes and large reduced.
Yeah, that's
But
That's not
potions
what we're
last
using
longer.
though. Yeah, I think they last like 1d4 hours or something. 1d4 hours. Yeah, go ahead and roll a d4. This is actually how long he lasts. They go. He's 3 hours. He's 3 hours. He's an ant. So is Karius. And it's long into the rest when you're like snoring and finally waking up. When you realize you're back to full size.
So we get the benefits of a long rest.
You actually get the benefits of a long rest. This
Yay!
might be your last one, however, not because I say so, but because the time limit on this quest is running short. You'd spent a long time in that last maze, like 8 hours, probably more, and you've taken another 8 hours here. You're down to like you might be on your last day at this point.
I think if I counted correctly, we're on day 9 of 10.
Yeah,
So one
there
more
you go.
long rest max.
And then we'd be on the day we have to get out. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's right.
All right,
'Cause
we
you're-
need to mosey then.
Okay. You've got 9 ants. I know you let out a little trap for this thing, but doesn't look like it's their appetite. None of them come back and are investigating that meal that you laid out for them.
So it's either
Not
we
sure why.
so we can do 9 people and 5 gaseous forms. And potentially and a polymorph, technically. So that would
The Golgars say, "Look, we don't mind staying up here," and the goblins also say, "And yeah, don't worry about us. You guys get down there." The goblins as well, probably also still nursing their wounds as well. I know you guys, as long rest, it's like some sort of magical super healing, but I'm going to say that the goblins have seen quite a lot of battle, and they want to sit this one out. If it gets really
Come on,
bad
teach
down
them
there,
wholeness of body.
yeah. Hey, look, if it gets really bad down there, we can try and help, but don't feel like you need to use your resources just to get us inside.
Well,
There
why
might not be enough. Just being a guess, it's not going to be good enough. If we turn back into our full size, we're going to get crushed in there or shunted out.
well isn't the whole point that we'll get into a space that is big enough?
We don't know.
Sure, but that might be a while. So why don't we stay here for now? You guys go in. Come back if you find something.
Alright. Well, do you want to bring one of us with you as assurance that we'll come back? Like
Sure.
I'm saying we'll come back, but
I
like
mean, yeah, I'll come. Yuckmug's offering to come. If you want some extra backup, sure, I'll be there.
I'm also just thinking, just as a thing, I realized like your whole thing was hunting goblins, Golgar, and
Mhm.
just don't. You know, you're going to be living together whilst we're down there, so probably just try to get on for that small amount of period. Shouldn't be long.
We're only hunting for the Tao's sake,
like
but the Tao are no more. Times
Prob-
have changed.
Alright, well, I suppose we should head in then.
so who we taking then?
I guess us, Lokshun,
Yuckmug,
Raheem.
Raheem.
Uh,
So that
Mhm.
makes
Oops.
yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm like drag us all together so we
Yeah.
know who's
I-
I'll
going.
drag
I'll-
who's going in over here.
I'll for now, because it will save resources, I'll dismiss Tackler.
Yeah. Sure. Daklo is dismissed.
And Dr. Octopus doesn't technically count as another person, I assume.
No, he's not a real thing. What are you talking about? He's not a creature. What are you talking about?
That's what I mean. I don't know because you keep saying it as if it's a joke. Are they?
And then
No, they're just a rock, dude. They're literally a pet rock. Oh, by the way, roll me a D46, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've just finished a long rest. Let's see what your completely mundane pet rock does.
Well,
Oh, it's a 41. D41.
sorry. D41.
Yeah.
5.
5? Alright. Scroll back to the top. What is a rock, eh? Okay. When you wake up, you know it's like it's still in the sort of image of Elias, right?
Is it? That's good.
Well, it was, wasn't it?
It was.
But it just had tentacles. Now it's a skeletal version of Elias. It's still made of rock, but it's very clearly your head is a skull. And your limbs are like bones. It's like Dr. Skelly Rocktopus Elias. And there's like there's little cracks on it. At first it's a little alarming because you're like, oh no, is he breaking apart? Is he dying? There are cracks over the rock.
I'm so confused. Why is he slowly turning into a skeleton?
You have no idea.
What is going on?
You have a zombie rock.
Mm-hmm. You might have died. You might have... Did you feed your
You
Tamagotchi?
killed your pet rock.
Did you remember to feed it?
What does it eat?
Other rocks, probably.
Raheem's like, yes, you didn't feed your Tamagotchi thing. Now it is dead.
What's a
Rest in
Tamagotchi?
peace. It's like a little pet you feed, you know. Ah, well.
It's alright, maybe we can find a diamond to revive it too.
Rest in peace, little pet rock. Ah, yes, we'll get a diamond. Don't worry.
I'm so confused, but also excited for its next form. Is this a Digimon? Did he just digivolve, but into like the evil Skeleagumon form?
it's Skull
Greymon form?
Greymon.
Yeah.
Skull Eliasmon. Skeliasmon.
Is this what's happening?
Totally.
I mean, considering it went from an octopus to a humanoid to a skeleton, honestly, that sounds like a Digimon Digivolution path to me because sometimes they make no sense whatsoever.
He's gonna turn into like a rock poop next.
No, it'd be a ghost.
Or it'll be
Hmm.
Lavellan. It
I'll say-
reforms flesh into Lavellan's flesh as you turn back into that cat when we revive them.
I think Egbert has to stay outside for the time being. Can't really eat the thing, the ant. So
Can he not go into the egg himself and then go into the bag of holding, and then when I turn, he's like teeny tiny.
sure, that would work actually. Yeah, that would work.
Okay,
Yeah.
so ignore Egbert from that list. Houdini,
The
I
same
guess,
goes.
would...
The same goes for Houdini.
Yeah, so we could bring one more person if those two go into the bag of holding.
Well, we've not seen Lost to Earth do combat.
He isn't. He's a cook. Zybits does have stuff, but
I don't
Yeah.
really want to... Well, didn't they stay up on the surface, those two? The two...
oh yeah,
We-
they said they would stay around.
We could just keep the other cockroaches just to be safe.
Yeah, back up.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So just
Looks
the
like we got our
party, Raheem
thing.
and Lokshun, basically. And Yuck.
Nice.
So we have
Gotcha. All right. So as you come into this room, over the night, the ice has melted, and hence why it's now snowing in here. Can you see the snowflakes?
Yeah.
It's probably no point in having them either, because it's just puddles on the floor. But the flame has actually been extinguished inside here, so that's a thing. Where's the sound? There it is. All right. So you've come into this large chamber. It's quite spacious as an ant, whereas before you were like, you couldn't even put your finger in practically. But coming down this set of stairs, you enter in, There's collapsed pillars. It seems like a lot of damage to those, but other than that, the stone walls haven't been cracked. The ice didn't expand or break any of them. The rest of this interior chamber looks pretty clean.
Do we see anything in cockroach ant form? As in, like,
No, they've all scurried away, especially since you flooded it and then froze it.
no, I mean, do we see anything? As in, like, do we see or hear
Mm.
Zalazil or Minotaur?
Oh, nope. You don't hear them down here.
Hmm.
Andy, do you want to show us where that symbol you found was?
Sure, yeah.
Do that first.
No, it is nearly 10, so I'll have to go to bed soon.
Yeah, I've got work in the morning.
The symbol was over. I'll get Andy's token.
Somewhere around here, isn't it?
Yeah. Over here is where they found it. You can't drag your token through a wall. You're better off using WASD keys to navigate here.
What are you guys doing here?
They're looking down. If you look up through the hole, you see their eyes peering down.
You hear Lost to Earth say, "Oh, did you solve the vault already?" And their voice is like boomingly loud.
So there's a symbol here that looked like a doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Are we and where ants right now or cockroaches?
Symbol looks like this.
No, we're just ant-sized. We're still us.
Oh, it's still us.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so could I not just make a passageway?
You could try. The abjuration magic is, however, acting upon this upon this cube, very strongly.
But
Yeah.
passageway is also pass wall is also a 5th level spell.
Yeah, but
Yep.
the abjuration magic, Karius would say, is incredibly strong. It's some of I honestly say probably, if considering where we are, it's probably some of the strongest Karius has seen personally.
Yep.
What
You would
about-
guess easily above 5th level. Like,
Well, what about Move Earth, which is 6th level?
I mean, maybe, but is this Earth anymore, or is it metal?
Yeah,
You
wasn't
got-
it?
you kind of got a stony interior. Or whether it's made to look like that or resemble it, you're not sure.
I mean, do we want to just try to solve it first? We've got time.
Oh well. Oh, is there like a?
If
a
you want to
puzzle?
use a 6th level spell
No.
and try, you can.
I didn't realize it was a puzzle. I thought it was just a door with a symbol.
No, it's well, it
That
might
is
be a
just a door with a
puzzle,
symbol, to be honest.
but
And you don't see any ways of opening it either, to be honest.
I mean, this might just be a dead end of some kind.
But why would there be a thing here?
Or maybe maybe this is like some of those classic, like, ancient temple sort of things, and there's like a platform somewhere you have to press that has this symbol on it, opens this door.
So we should go looking elsewhere and come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the door's going anywhere. And to be
Okay.
honest, if we've got an enemy down here somewhere, it's probably worthwhile dealing with the enemy first.
Okay.
Right.
Wait,
But you're right, it is hit around 10. You have made it to the 7th and final region. I think here's a good place to sort of wrap it up. You've got the main party down here as well. Can't bring the whole Goblin clan with you, thankfully. But hey, this does look like maybe much more like a puzzle area anyway. Cool. All right. So we'll sign off here.
Yep.
Tune in next week. Finally get into sink our teeth into the 7th region.
Yeah.
proper. And yeah, tune in then. See you all later.
Bye for now.
Sunday
Bye.
for infiltration.
Yep, Sunday for another form of infiltration. Except rather than a
Yeah.
vault into a toy shop. So lots of clockwork involved either way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bye for now.
Catch you later. Bye.